ABC Wednesday, October 9th.
Y'all complain all day. We want books. We want paper towels in the classroom. Bet you want razors, too.
I'm still waiting on the paper towels.
Abbott Elementary returns with a new season.
We asked the district for more after-school programs. They gave us $50 for class pets instead.
Critics cheer. Abbott Elementary continues to be one of the funniest and most beloved shows on TV.
What y'all doing out there?
Taking bribes.
Proud of y'all.
Abbott Elementary, season premiere Wednesday, October 9th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
My name is Lorne Michaels. I'm the producer of Saturday Night.
The whole night?
Yeah, the whole night.
Based on the insane true story of the first time Saturday Night went live.
You ordered a llama?
Yeah, we all decided it was much funnier than a donkey.
Saturday Night, rated R, now playing exclusively in theaters.
They fooled me, we can't get fooled again.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas.
December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you, sir?
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
If you don't like what we tell you to believe in, we'll kill you.
All right, kids. Listen. Podcast,
don't listen to this.
If you're not of age.
What's of age?
This is 18 and up. Look, we're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words. And probably some things that might offend you. But
don't listen to this.
Can't wait till you listen.
Yeah, don't
if
do
you're
it.
18 and up.
Don't do it.
If you're 18 and
yeah.
up. Welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast. Sean, Eric, Jorge.
Hey, guys.
What up, everybody?
So, yeah, we're here again for yet another chapter in our conspiracy book.
We just got finished doing Kurt Cobain. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was cool.
We got a lot of good feedback from you guys.
Yeah, a lot of bad feedback, too.
That's fine, you know?
Yeah.
Good, bad, but still feedback.
We'll take
you
it.
noticed the poll, though? Everybody really went with Jorge on that.
Pretty sure we should check Jorge's.
What can I say? You know?
Check Jorge's Cash App account. I'm gonna some receipts.
I feel like I think I'm sitting at a solid 9%.
Really
low.
8.5%.
Really low.
Hey, one thing before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys for, if you did vote, we recently got nominated for the Best Male Podcast.
Best Male Hosted Podcast.
That's right.
And this is from the People's Choice Podcast Awards that's going on now. So we got nominated. We're in the last round, and now the final voting's going on.
Yeah, and it won't end until like another month or so before we find out. But we're up against people that have been doing it for a lot longer than us. So vote for us. Fuck them.
But we'll let you know. It's awesome that we got nominated, so we appreciate that. And, we'll let you guys know in September.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll let you know with good news or we'll just be depressed.
So what are we doing tonight?
So tonight is MK Ultra. I know, dude. It's it's one of the top, not the top.
Do you know much about this, Jorge?
I know a little bit.
Yeah.
I know all of it.
Sean knows all of it.
Yeah, he's been talking about MK Ultra for a while now since we started the podcast. He's like, we got to do this one. We got to do this one.
And
Finally got to it.
Finally put it together.
Yeah. I know very little.
You.
I know very little, just so we're all
this is good.
All clear. Yeah,
I think it's always good to have someone who knows nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Because then you get like that real unbiased opinion.
Yeah. And I'll ask questions like, who's that guy?
You're like, what?
Yeah,
What's the government?
Yeah. Okay. What does MK mean?
I did a little digging. AKA, I asked my wife. She also did a lot of research.
Yeah.
So MK Ultra is, in essence, it does stand for mind control. The K from control being a K is because it stemmed from Germany, and the German scientist who obviously got brought over by Operation Paperclip, and then we couldn't really find anything for the Ultra. I think it's just because they were like trying to pump it up to the next level.
Yeah.
Ultra.
Yeah. Well, shout out to our research assistant. Tay
baby. Thanks, honey. You're the best.
Yeah. She's our number one fan.
She actually is. She's
our
number one fan.
Yeah, she's our president of our
the fan club.
Yeah, she's the number one.
MK Ultra was a top secret CIA project, and it lasted from 1953 to 1973.
Okay.
And so the CIA would conduct hundreds of experiments sometimes on unwitting U.S. citizens, meaning that they did not know what the fuck was going on. And that was to assess the potential use of LSD and other drugs for mind control, information gathering, and psychological torture.
Wow.
So that was the purpose behind the project. So
these people didn't even know that.
Well, some people.
Okay.
And some people were volunteers, which I will get into. I will get into all those different accounts.
So you said 53?
Yeah, so 1953 to 1973, so 20 years.
Jeez,
This is a long, fucking 20 years of this shit.
Yeah.
So
and 53 was Ike, Dwight Eisenhower as the president, I think. Right after the war, I guess. Yeah.
I think you might be right.
I was just wondering, like, I was trying to lay the scene of, like,
feel.
Yeah, where were we?
Land.
Yeah, like we were in the prime of, we just won the war.
I know, it was after the war.
Yeah,
and, like all the soldiers come home, start banging their wives.
Yes, and America, the boomers,
the baby boomers, the baby boomers,
yeah.
like, exactly.
And America was on top.
I know, we're the shit, like kings of industry.
Yeah,
like,
that's
fucking,
right. Yeah.
It's a good time. What a time to be alive. Goddamn. I wish I was living back in that time. So pretty much the how it began. So at the height of the Cold War, which was in the 50s and 60s. So the government feared that the Soviets, the Chinese, and North Koreans agents were using mind control to brainwash U.S. prisoners of war in Korea. So in the Korean War.
To like use them against us? Or like
just to do anything, to get them to disclose information, to make them double agents, to just kind of, in essence, use mind control to manipulate captured agents to either get intel or to make them like plants.
Yeah. It seems like, because it wasn't a war, so it was very much 0070.
Wasn't like a violent.
No, meaning like it
war.
wasn't.
It wasn't like World War.
Yeah, we weren't
like
invading
an intelligence war.
Yeah, it was all in the shadows, and so
very true. Very true.
I'm assuming that's where it all started, kind of.
And I think it's also at that time there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for, like you're just like afraid, like, oh, they're doing shit. Oh, they're behind.
Paranoid.
Paranoid. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for. In response to this and like these fears, Alan Dulles, who was at the time the current acting director of the CIA, he approved Project MK Ultra, obviously in 1953, like I said, and the project was headed up by a chemist named Sidney Gottlieb. Okay. So this was a covert operation aimed to develop techniques that could be used against the Soviets to control human behavior with drugs and other psychological manipulators. And so the program...
So essentially, like, so they can program people
to
go out and do...
Exactly. They were trying to do a vast multitude of things. Let's say you could make an assassin who didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
And they would forget everything.
Yeah. This is where the story of Manchurian Candidate.
Exactly.
Right.
You ever see that?
Right.
He's like, Ted, blah. Ted, and it's like, like, exactly, like
abracadabra.
Like you get like a code phrase and they activate. Like that's what also
crazy.
Sleeper agent.
It's terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Interesting.
The program involved more than 150 human experiments involving psychedelic drugs, paralytics, and electroshock therapy. Just so you know, these are not hard numbers. These are estimated numbers based on accounts they were able to find.
I got you.
So over 20
This is
years,
not like a memo from Dulles to JFK saying we had 150 guys.
No, this is a guesstimated. And that's what they say more than.
Okay.
They don't have an exact number. So sometimes the test subjects knew they were participating in the study. They would volunteer. But other times they had no idea, even when the hallucinogens started taking effect. So you're sitting there, having a good time, and then you start tripping. And you're like, what the f-? So many of the tests were conducted at universities, hospitals, or prisons in the United States and Canada. Most of them took place, obviously, between 1953 when it started, but up to 1964 is when the bulk of these happened. Like I mentioned, it's not clear how many people.
Yeah.
This is just a guess.
Yeah.
They're just guessing.
Yeah.
So the agency kept notoriously poor records, and they destroyed most of the documents.
Of course they did.
When the program was officially halted in 1973.
Whoops! How did that get in the fire?
Oh my God!
How did that get in the shredder?
The filing cabinet burned out. I don't know. It spontaneously combusted.
Just store it at the Watergate building. No big deal. Yeah.
According to a gentleman named Stephen Kinzer, he's an author and a journalist. He wrote a bunch of stuff about MK Ultra, and I quote: he said the CIA project was a continuation of the work begun in World War II era Japanese facilities and Nazi concentration camps on subduing and controlling human minds.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So Kinzer writes that MK Ultra's use of mescaline on unwitting subjects was a practice that Nazi doctors had begun in the camps at Auschwitz and Dachau.
Yeah.
Wait, what's mescaline?
It's a hardcore hallucinogen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like hardcore.
And Dr. Evil or whatever, not Dr. Evil, Joseph Mengele in the concentration camps was he would drug people and fucking
Do it.
mutilate
Weird,
people.
weird shit.
And it was, I guess what it's saying is it's the formation of it.
Like literally, they're pretty much continuing, and it actually there is a little bit more that gets into like saying that's not really that wrong. Kinzer gave evidence that the continuation of this Nazi agenda was actually happening because he cited the CIA had kind of secretly recruited Nazi torturers and vivisectionists to continue practicing on thousands of subjects, and Nazis were brought to Fort Detrick, which is in Maryland. That's where a lot of this was happening. A lot of it was like actually formed at Fort Detrick, and that's where a lot of the main. There was only about probably 12 main guys in MK Ultra, and that's where a lot of them were stationed at Fort Detrick in Maryland.
12 main bad guys?
Yeah, like the ones doing the experience?
Yeah, totally. 12 people who were involved in the MK Ultra
administering
project.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it was super compartmentalized. Like, not a lot of motherfuckers were part of MK Ultra.
Yeah.
So the first thing we're going to cover here is LSD. Obviously, that's a big boy in the room. I want to give a little backstory on LSD and how it came to be, because not a lot of people know this. A scientist by the name of Albert Hofmann, and he became an employee of a large pharmaceutical and chemical development company called Sandoz Laboratories, now known as Novartis, just in case you know. Big fucking company, massive. So that was in 1929. He began studying medicinal plants as well as fungi, in essence, to purify and synthesize things that could be used in pharmaceuticals. So he first synthesized LSD on 16 November 1938. His main intention was actually to obtain a respiratory and circulatory stimulant. And it was like, he was trying to, I'm going to make you breathe better. No. So he synthesized it, and they literally didn't, and then just like put it in storage for 5 years. Didn't test it, didn't do anything. Just made it.
He didn't know what it was.
No, he just like.
He didn't know what.
Just put it in. It literally went in a box for 5 years.
Yeah.
So on April 16th, 1943, he was like, oh, what do I have here? This little thing, this little stash he stashed away. And he's, okay, I'm going to take some.
Oh,
shit.
Taking your own stash.
Literally, he's like, I think I'll try it.
He's like, what do I have in the U-Haul storage right now?
He instantly was like, some shit's going down.
Yeah.
So he wrote, he described the feeling, and here's how he described it. I'm affected by a remarkable restlessness combined with a slight dizziness. At home, I lay down and sank into a not unpleasant intoxicated-like condition characterized by an extremely stimulated imagination. In a dreamlike state, with eyes closed, I found the daylight to be unpleasantly glaring. I perceived an uninterrupted stream of fantastic pictures, extraordinary shapes with intense kaleidoscopic play of colors. After some 2 hours, this condition faded away.
Wow.
So like some random dude is like, I'm gonna try this.
In other words, he was tripping.
Yeah, he was tripping. So 3 days later, he's like, I'm gonna take a little bit more. So he decided to ingest 250 micrograms of LSD, which he thought was a safe amount. It's fucking humongous. It's like an ungodly large dose of LSD. It's so much. Like normally people will take 1 microgram.
Okay.
He took 250. He took 250. So he
lost his mind.
Tripping balls.
He died.
No, his trip was not pleasant. He said people started to morph into fantastic creatures. Office furniture moved and shifted like living entities.
Holy shit.
And he felt possessed by otherworldly forces. He calls his assistant. He's like, I need you to help me get home.
Yeah.
And the assistant's like, okay. So at the time, so this is in Switzerland.
Okay.
So there was war happening at the time. Oh yeah, it's 43. World War II. So because of wartime restrictions, you can't have cars in the streets.
Okay.
Past a certain time. So
there's a curfew.
Yeah. So he's literally like him and his assistant have to ride a bike 6 miles to his house, and he's tripping fucking ultra balls. It's like
hard enough, like riding after a couple beers. Like I can't imagine 250 milligrams of LSD.
So on a side note, I used to live really close to Sean, and I would bike to his house.
Oh yeah.
And so then I would have to bike home
after like ultras.
So I know the feeling.
Oh yeah. And luckily for you, going to your house was downhill. Not a lot of pedaling. This day became known as Bicycle Day. And it's actually a real thing, which until I looked at this, I had no idea it was a real thing. Like it's fucking acid heads all over the world.
Oh, really?
Actually celebrate Bicycle Day. Because this was the first.
It's like 420.
This was the first intentional.
This
is the first intentional dosing of LSD.
Oh, I see.
The first time someone was like, I'm trying to get high.
I get it.
And did it.
But it's not like cyclists don't celebrate it.
No, it just drug addicts.
Yeah.
Drug addicts celebrate it.
Okay.
Cyclists
all over the world.
Takes their LSD and jump on a 100-mile loop.
That's like
Lance Armstrong.
Tour de France, bitch. Let's go. It's gonna be a long one. So Hoffman continued to take LSD in small doses throughout his life, and he ended up dying in 2008 at the age of 102.
Whoa.
102.
Wow.
He died of a heart attack.
Wow.
102. My fucking God.
God damn.
So yeah, so that's the story of LSD.
Okay.
So now, how does LSD play in the CIA?
Yeah.
So the CIA began to experiment with LSD, which, by the way, it's called lysergic acid dithalamide. That's the technical
Worst name.
term.
We're just going to go with LSD.
No wonder they said LSD.
They're like drug.
Yeah.
And we're going to call it drug. Yeah. This was under the direction of agency chemist and poison expert Sidney Gottlieb, who is this is a guy who's running MK Ultra.
Sidney
Gottlieb. So Sidney believed that the agency could harness the drug's mind-altering properties for brainwashing or for psychological torture.
Okay.
So that's why he's like, this is going to be the one.
Yeah. So this guy is the guy who kind of implemented it.
Yeah. So Sidney,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I said,
I know the other guy was the creator of it, but this is the guy who.
Oh no! Yeah, this is the bad guy. I mean, the other guy was literally just like trying to. He made the shit on accident.
Yeah, he's like
he wasn't
Oppenheimer.
he wasn't doing it for any reason other than. And then he was like, "I think I'll just take it because I like it."
Yeah.
You know? Sidney Gottlieb is a total piece of shit.
Okay.
This guy's the number one piece of shit. So the CIA focused first on LSD, and it actually came to dominate most of their programs because obviously they were using a shitload of different drugs, like all hallucinogens.
But that one had the most.
That's the one that they thought had the most potential. So they started using it the most. Gotcha. They thought that gave them the best chance of actually achieving the goal of like, oh, we'll fucking brainwash this motherfucker and he won't remember shit.
It's probably the one that you tripped on the most and had the most like
longest effects and like all kinds of shit.
I've never done LSD.
Same.
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
I was gonna say like people I've talked to who have done it, it is one of the more extreme.
Dude.
Okay, but LSD.
Dude, it's like it's hard to explain. Really? It's really hard.
How many micrograms did you do? Is that what it is? It's micrograms, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's all these different names for it, like doses, tabs, microdots. So in essence, what you do is they take a drop, like a tiny droplet, and they'll put it on paper.
Put it on
and you put a paper. I used to get it from a guy who would put it on a Pez and freeze it. So you just take a Pez, and then like 20 minutes later, you're like fucking.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So,
but compared to like other drugs, though, it's the one that manipulates.
It is so intense.
Your reality, right?
Oh, dude.
Compared to I don't know, like
compared to like weed or something. Yeah,
weed doesn't make the walls melt.
No, dude, you see shit that doesn't exist.
Yeah, okay.
Like you actually start manifesting things that aren't there. Like you start.
Yeah.
And
you're creating
your
something,
mind starts fucking like.
Dude, and if
you're creating what's not there.
And if you go real crazy,
you're creating something that's not there. Meaning like
what it uses, what
like
it
a
does,
fucking dolphin's coming out.
No, well, most of the time you're using what is there and then you're adding to it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And you'll take you take the visual stimulus and then that is getting altered and modified into other things.
Gotcha.
Whereas like if you do, which I did one time, which first of all, I don't recommend anyone taking drugs. It's not cool.
Yeah.
But at the time I did one time, I went in total darkness when I did it, which is stupid.
Wow.
And I literally
like blacked out.
So like the whole room's black, you mean? Or?
No, I actually went in my closet at the time, and I closed it, and it was pure black. And after about 20 minutes, so what happens is, since there's no visual stimulus to alter, you start alter.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like I was living out whole scenarios in my mind that I thought were real, and then I'd wake up and I'm in the closet, and I'm like, I get the fuck out of this closet right now, and that freaked me out. I don't like this anymore.
It sounds scary.
It's terrifying.
Like of all the things,
it does.
I mean, like booze is a drug, and it's like
true
in a sense, but it doesn't scare me.
No, because it's not.
You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, I'm fucking terrified.
It's not a
happening.
It's not a hallucinogen.
Yeah,
It's not like mushrooms or like I say psilocybin or like mescaline or peyote or these things that are literally
That just scares me.
cause hallucination. They cause you to hallucinate.
That stuff just scares me. Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us a peek into your
into my dark past. I was actually part of MK Ultra. You got me. I am 50.
Wait, you're Sidney?
I am Sidney.
He is programmed to be on the podcast.
Exactly.
In 2022, you shall start a podcast.
It's like the code word is all of a sudden
Nighty night. The code word is nighty night.
like activate, make people believe all podcasts.
I love it. One day we just got to do that. The whole
The
podcast.
whole podcast in accent.
So yesterday,
That would be fun.
documents obtained from the CIA under the Freedom of Information Act in 1976 showed that in 1953, the CIA considered purchasing 10 kilograms of LSD, which is enough for 100 million doses. 100 million doses.
Wow. So this stuff is so potent that
one drop is all you need.
One drop is
singular drop.
That's all you need. That's
dude. Oh yeah.
One drop.
One.
That's crazy.
If you take too much, you're fucked for life. Like you're ruined.
Because you need a pound of weed. I'm just trying to do a comparative. You have a pallet of weed. It's equivalent of.
It's like a drop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
okay,
a pallet. That's probably good. That's probably a good comparison.
A pallet
like
of weed is comparative to one square of LSD.
And they were considering, quote unquote, purchasing 100 million doses.
Jeez.
So the proposed purchase aimed to stop other countries from controlling the supply. So so pretty much they found they found out about LSD and they're like, they can't have this shit. They are not allowed to have this shit. This is the first motherfucker to invent this shit. Like they can't have it.
Well, back to your paranoia too. It's like they don't want.
Oh no, they're like the Soviets are ahead of us. They can't.
Right.
They already got their own LSD.
They're already ahead of us. Like,
This America's LSD.
I always kind of find it a weird argument that's they're saying, well, we just don't want others to have it.
Right. Fuck that.
Look,
like we want all the Bitcoin because we don't want nobody else to have Bitcoin.
The thing is, like, it's either they're doing fucked up shit or we do the fucked up shit, so they can't do it.
Right.
Right.
It's weird. Yeah, it is weird.
Documents show that the CIA purchased some quantities of LSD from Sandoz laboratories in Switzerland. While it can't be proven, they bought all of it.
100 million.
Oh, they bought all of it. 100%.
Really?
Oh yeah, they did.
Does it talk about a year? Like what year this was?
This was 1953.
Oh, in the beginning.
Oh yeah, this is in the beginning. So there is no hard evidence. Like there's not a receipt. That they purchased it, but they bought all. They bought all 100 million doses.
That's insane.
They were stocked up. They were like,
that's insane.
They're ready to go.
Who's getting dosed? Who's getting dosed? Everybody's getting dosed. I told the boys before the podcast, because you guys know me by now, listening to 40 episodes of us. I'm like very anti-establishment. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust them. This is why I don't trust
now?
This is why I don't trust the government. MK Ultra gets underway in 53, and then they started administering LSD to mental patients.
Testing.
Prisoners, drug addicts, and prostitutes. So pretty much, who were the people that no one's gonna get pissed off about if they're getting dosed?
Wow,
And they're like, let's go after them.
I thought this was mainly a military,
This way,
like experiment.
There's more.
But I didn't know that they did it to.
Dude, they started. Well, the first.
What's the word?
They pretty much are like
mental
miscreants, like,
mental patients, prostitutes, homeless people.
Yeah, like drug addicts. So pretty much
Drug
what they did. No, like literally, that was the modus operandi. They were like, okay, we'll start with the people that no one gives a shit about.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna ask questions. If a prostitute ends up getting super fucked up on LSD, who's they gonna? The CIA made me do it. Okay, shut up. They're going to jail.
Yeah.
These are the crazies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The untrustworthy people in society. That's what they did.
So they had to at least try it out first because they probably didn't know too much about LSD at this point, right?
Oh no, they don't know anything. They know zero.
Right. Exactly.
They know
so
nothing
they were like, okay,
about
let's learn how these people trip and let's learn what they say to us. Let's learn how. Okay.
Don't worry, it's a vaccine.
Yeah. We're getting canceled now.
Just don't say the C word.
Oh. Anyways, so in one case, they administered LSD to a mental patient in Kentucky for 174 days. 174 days. Like, what are they?
He lost his mind.
What are they? He was already crazy.
Well, to them, they were like, "Oh, this guy's already crazy. We can't."
I just don't
do any worse.
Like, what were you trying to accomplish? Like,
On day 142, you're like, let's give him 30 more days.
Yeah, it's still working. It's still working.
Yeah.
I think I like this. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's inhumane.
Oh, dude, it's of course.
Right?
It's super inhumane.
That's inhumane.
It does get worse. It does get worse. So they also administered LSD to CIA employees, military personnel, doctors, and other government agents.
Wow. So just at like a luncheon?
We'll get into that. And so also members of the general public to study the reaction. So they were just, okay, we'll upgrade to everybody else.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, we tried it on the crazy person, but they're crazy.
Yes.
Now let's see what happens with it.
On professionals, like regular people, government agents, see how they react.
Because you got to think the whole purpose is, can we manipulate these people to
Can we get them
later
to do
on
something?
do what we want them to do?
No. So the aim was to actually find drugs, because they used more than LSD. So the aim was to find drugs that would bring out deep confessions, that would wipe your mind clean, something you could program them as like a fucking robot agent. You know, hey, and when this happens, you fucking boom and you kill them, like, type programming.
Whose idea was this?
Sidney Gottlieb.
Why was this like?
Because they're all paranoid about the Soviets, dude. I don't know. They're like, oh. So military personnel who would receive the drugs, they were threatened with court-martials if they told anybody. Oh, yeah. So they're like, you fucking tell anybody, you're out of here. Yeah. Who are they going to believe? They're going to believe the man? They're going to believe you. You fucking scrub.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah. It's super upsetting, honestly. Like, the more I talk about it, the more upsetting it becomes.
Yeah.
Frank Rudolph Emanuel Olson. He's a forenamer.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Kind of like you, all right?
Spanish?
Sounds Mexican to me.
Oh, yeah. That's a forenamer, baby.
I know.
He's got four names.
Yeah, no,
I got
but
four names.
do I say Spanish or do I say Mexican?
Well, if you're from Mexico, you're
No,
Mexican.
You should say Mexican. Yeah.
Don't say Spanish.
No.
Are you from Spain?
I'm just checking. I'm getting okayed.
Spanish.
I'm getting okayed from the entire culture, right?
Right. Exactly.
Or is the ambassador?
I represent.
Yes.
I represent all Mexicans.
Yeah. I just need it in writing. Like, send me an email, certified.
And I just sign it, please.
Yeah.
I'm a notary.
Don't call him Spanish.
Just save this video clip and just save it to your
the
phone.
problem though is that I would get caught calling somebody a Mexican who's maybe not from Mexico.
And I'd be like, okay, motherfucker.
Yeah. Honduras is not Mexico, bro.
Venezuela, piece of
I'm
shit.
like, all right, well, tit for tat.
American bacteriologist, biological warfare scientist, and an employee of the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. So he's a military guy. And so Olson would become one of the first scientists at Fort Detrick.
Okay.
So Fort Detrick, what I mentioned, that's where a lot of this happened at MK Ultra.
Connecticut or something like that?
It's in Maryland.
Oh, Maryland. Okay.
The Army transferred him to Edgewood Arsenal in Maryland. A few months later, the Chemical Corps took over Detrick fully, and then they established its secret biological warfare laboratory. So they take over the base, and they're like, okay, cool, now we're going to establish this secret thing so we can start making chemical weapons and, start doing fucked up shit.
Yeah.
At Camp Detrick, Baldwin worked with industrial partners like George Merck, which obviously Merck Industries is humongous. Also the U.S. military as a whole. And they were going to build fucking top secret bioweapons. And so that began in 1943.
This was height of the war.
Yeah, so it was during World War II when they started doing this shit. At the time, during World War II, there was a lot of interest on, hey, we got to advance this weaponry. We got to be prepared. Yeah. We got to just be like proactive and creating more and more shit. So,
I mean, if Hitler and the Nazis were looking for the Ark, I mean, we got to do something ourselves.
So Olson also worked with ex-Nazis who had been brought into the country through Operation Paperclip on the utilization of aerosolized anthrax, meaning like you can just fucking spray anthrax on someone's face.
Terrifying.
So, like I said, they were working with fucking Nazis,
back
bro.
then. What the fuck do we have nowadays?
So, Olson eventually was discharged from the Army in 1944.
Before the war ended, he was discharged.
Yep, he was discharged, but he remained at Detrick on a civilian contract. So he still was working. He still was working for the military. He just wasn't, didn't have like the fucking.
Maybe his.
Didn't have the brass.
Maybe his. You know how they end.
Yeah, like your contract's up or whatever.
Your
your discharge. Yeah. But also, he's like, I make more money as a contractor, so fuck it.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Like 100%. He continued his research there in aerobiology. So then in 1949, He joined a lot of other like Dietrich scientists, and they were, in essence, creating a different thing called Operation Harness, which tested the vulnerability of animals to toxic clouds. So they're just like doing different shit. So he's like,
they're spraying it and putting the dogs in. Going,
let's see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, I'm trying to give you a backstory. This guy's involved in a lot of shit.
What a dumbass fucking profession.
So then,
sorry, but like
it's crazy. It's wild.
You're putting a bunch of dogs in a room and you're spraying the room and ugh.
So then it keeps going. In 1950, he was part of Operation Sea Spray, where they would pretty much release this bacterium into coastal mist in San Francisco through a minesweeper, and then they would pretty much see what happens. And pretty much reached all the San Francisco residents. At the time, it was 800,000 people, and they would like see what happened.
And all this stuff is documented.
Yeah,
like this is
all documented.
These are all declassified.
No, this is all
before
documented.
MK.
No, I know, but I mean, this is all declassified documents.
Yeah, it's all documented. Like all this stuff happened. Like it's they got the receipts.
God.
In your hometown, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe the sea spray fucking fucked him up. Like,
I wasn't. How old do you think I am?
Not fucked you up. Fucked San Francisco up.
I love San Francisco.
And fucked you up.
San Francisco fucked you
old
up.
head, old head, boomer.
I was born in the 80s.
Oh, sure. That's what you're telling.
This is like 40 years earlier.
That's what you're telling them.
Oh, God.
Anyway. So this is in the 1950s. At this time, a lot of senior military officials, as well as CIA officers, were like starting to get freaked out about Soviet progress. And they're like, oh, shit. The Soviets are going to master fucking microbe warfare, and we're going to be fucked. And so they pretty much... This like fear led to them establishing what they called the Special Operations Division at Dietrich. And this was in the spring of 1949. So the purpose of that was to conduct research on covert ways to utilize chemical weapons. So not just like, hey, drop a fucking bomb, to do it like secretively or to actually use chemical weapons on individuals.
Gotcha, yeah.
So the Special Operations Division, I'm just called SOD because I don't want to keep saying that. So the SOD was highly secretive, and Olson became the acting chief of SOD within a year of its creation. So he became like head fucking honcho.
As a contractor.
Exactly, as a contractor. So then he was still like, he was assigned as a U.S. Army contractor. He began working for the CIA as an employee. So he became employed by the CIA shortly after that. Then in 1952, he was appointed to the committee for Project Artichoke. So Project Artichoke was the precursor to MK Ultra.
Yep.
So Project Artichoke is known as an experimental CIA interrogation program, but in essence, it was just like MK Ultra, but like before it became MK.
Before
Ultra.
it morphed into MK. Yeah. It was like three versions, right? Before MK Ultra,
there was
or two.
I think there might have been three.
Yeah.
So who's the guy who comes up with the operation names? Operation Broccoli. And then one before that was Artichoke.
Let's just go with that.
Artichoke's dope.
Artichoke. No, better than MK Ultra.
Yeah, but Artichoke.
No, but maybe it's like, you know, an artichoke, like you peel like the layers of the artichoke back. So maybe it's just like
deep.
Peel the layers back of your mind.
Okay.
But MK Ultra, it's just like, it sounds like a dope.
It's got to mean
like a band name.
Honestly.
So Project Artichoke was a mind control program, and the Central Intelligence Agency's kind of code for carrying out psychological experiments using LSD, hypnosis, isolation, physiological harassment, as well as special interrogations on human subjects.
The your brother ever do the thing?
Yeah. I'm not touching. I'm not touching.
You do it on your chest over and over until it feels like a pound.
Stop hitting yourself.
Dude,
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
You remember the spit one?
I never.
Oh,
I don't have brothers, so
I have brothers, so they would do
the what?
Physical torture.
Physiological
like
torture.
Pin you and like
they pin you down,
try
they
to
do
drop,
the spit, and then they suck it back up before it hits your face.
God,
so gross.
I never did that to my brother.
Fucked up.
Should have. Like literally, that would fuck me up now. It probably fuck me up worse now.
Also, how do they have spit that did that?
How can they?
I don't even understand.
Like fucking. At first, agents would use cocaine, weed, heroin, and then they started escalating to peyote,
just
mescaline. After all these tests, they started to see that LSD was the most promising. They're like, we're getting the most activity from this. We're going to start using this one more. And then, so subjects after the project, they were left kind of like fogged with amnesia. They had like weird memories, like faulty memories, vague memories. They couldn't really remember what happened. And then in 1952, the LSD was increasingly given to unknowing CIA agents. So they started just giving it to their agents. Like, fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Hey, before you go out on the field, just take this. Like,
well, they apparently they wanted to see what happened, like when people weren't expecting to take it.
Yeah.
Oh, like they didn't know?
Yeah, they didn't know.
Spiked?
Yeah, so they were like, I guess we'll start with people that are like on the payroll. Like, let's start
And
giving
you watch them.
Yeah, let's see what's wrong, Dave? You okay? What's happening?
It's messed up, man.
Tell me how you feel.
You go on YouTube or just social media, whatever. Just type it in. Like, you'll see videos of people like that didn't know that they were taking the LSD and part of this MK Ultra, and like they just start tripping. They start like babbling, whatever, and they start asking them questions, like interrogating them and shit. So
it's fucked. It's fucked up. If you're not suspecting it, and you feel that way, I would be fucking terrified. I would be like, why is this happening to me? One agent was kept on LSD for like 77 days. They're just like some of the stuff that they had on record.
Yeah.
Of like proving what happened.
Insanity.
Project Artichoke was succeeded by Project MK Ultra. Came right after.
Yeah.
Here's where things start to get a little spicy.
Okay.
If it wasn't already. Like, fucking Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
By 1953, Olson had pretty much, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for Olson. All right.
Well, look at all the fucked up shit this guy's done.
No, I know, but usually there's not like a,
conscience
or like a curve on the story to like, oh, he's like, oh, I feel bad. No. Most of these stories are like they raped him, murdered him,
I know,
he's dead.
I really like this.
Until he was 102.
Yeah. So he was kind of done. He was at his wit's end. He became super stressed, and he was like, his conscience weighing on him, and he's, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And he's like starting to get waffly. And so because he was starting to waffle like this to his family, to his coworkers, they started seeing him as a potential security risk. So because MK Ultra and these Artichoke ones they're highly compartmentalized, highly top secret. So like I said, there's only like 12 motherfuckers who are in on it.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a lot of leaks that can come. It's like, you're one of the 12, bitch. It's going to come from you.
Yeah.
They saw him as
the weak link,
as a potential security risk.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got to keep an eye on him. So, the boys wanted to do some bonding. They had a little men's retreat. You know? So this was with the
I know where this is going.
This is with the closest MK Ultra crew. They had a cabin in Deep Creek Lake. They got it from a Wednesday to a Friday.
Yeah, it's in Maryland.
They do have a list of the participants, the tentative participants at least.
Yeah.
So the first one's Olson, Lieutenant Colonel Vincent Rouette, who was actually the head of the Special Operations Divisions. So he was Olson's boss. John Schwab, who actually founded the division and was its lab chief.
Descendant of Charles.
I hope so.
Schwab.
That was the worst joke ever. Jesus Christ. That's so stupid. I can't even have it. I'm actually angry.
I'm gonna pump that one up.
I'm actually upset.
I'm gonna turn the volume up.
Descendant of Charles
Schwab.
First of his name, the breakout chains.
Surrender.
Surrender. Then there was John Stubbs, Benjamin Wilson, Herbert Burt Tanner, worked at Fort Detrick, John Malinowski, he was a staffer, Gerald Yonitz, and he was a special operations vision scientist. And then there was a couple guys from the CIA, Sidney Gottlieb. There was Robert Lashbrook, who was Gottlieb's deputy. So Thursday evening around...
bunch of guys. These are the guys.
Bunch of bros.
These are the
cabin.
Guys
Get
trip for a
some
couple
fucking
days.
cigars.
Yeah.
They're having a good time. It's about 7:30.
Yeah.
And they grab drinks. They're like vibing. The guys are vibing. They're having a great time. And then all of a sudden, Sidney and Gottlieb and his deputy Robert Lashbrook, they're like, "Hey, by the way, we dosed the booze with a potential truth serum." And everyone's like, "What the fuck?" And obviously,
AKA LSD or what the fuck?
Later it came out that it was LSD.
Oh, shit.
But he literally just fucking dosed all the boys.
Damn.
Yeah. And then we don't know really what happened during the night. We just know that he literally dosed everyone there with LSD.
Hold here. So we're doing a podcast. Let's just say we're doing a podcast. We come like, hey, I brought Miller Lights tonight. It's on me. Hey. And then halfway through, I say, by the way, I dosed it. What do you do?
I'd attack you. I think I'd attack you.
Physically,
I'd physically accost you.
Yeah.
100%. But before I lost
this must have happened.
I mean, maybe they were like standing far enough away that they were like, get the door.
Also,
Sidney,
maybe,
get the door.
maybe they're already
Maybe they wait.
feeling it.
Everyone's all, damn man, this
Yeah.
this narcos.
I might tell you after you're completely.
I'm like,
up.
what's
Right.
happening to me, Eric?
Yeah.
What's in these Millers?
Oh, well, I forgot to tell you, but that's because I spiked it.
Surprise, surprise.
Wow, that's
Damn.
fucked up. I mean, if I was this Olsen guy, I would never speak to them again. Probably, right?
I mean that.
Wouldn't you?
I would.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Or at least be like,
I fucking wouldn't. I would hate you.
yeah,
I would.
I'd be
I would
done.
despise
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'd be done.
I would despise you. So there's not a lot of info on what happened that transpired after that point.
Yeah.
But I just know that the next morning, Olsen went back to his home, and he was different afterwards. So like he's having dinner with his family.
Yeah.
He refused to eat. He seemed distant. He wasn't speaking about the trip at all. Like his kids were like, "What's happening?" He actually blurted out to his wife, "I've made a terrible mistake." Said that to his
About
wife.
his whole life, probably.
He literally said, "I made a
Like,
terrible
his
mistake."
whole career, his whole everything. I
Yeah.
wonder if that
He
was
like
the first
realized
time.
who he's.
And no, he realized also what he was giving others.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like he was
Because
like,
like,
oh
well, it's
shit.
different when you're just looking. You're like fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Right, you're just kind of like saying, "Oh,
Now you're like, oh my god, this is what I'm doing to
exterior
people?"
viewpoint, like running this experiment, whatever."
Interesting.
So so at this point in time, MK Ultra had only been underway for 7 months, and there's like there's 12 dudes who know about it.
Yeah.
Literally, barely 24 people who know about it. So then on November 23rd, 23, Olsen and his boss, Lieutenant Colonel Vincent Ruett, who has also got dosed.
Okay.
So they went to work at Dietrich. They were both kind of still fucked up from the retreat because they both were like recovering from acid. So Ruett recalled Olsen appeared to be like agitated. He asked Ruett, should he fire me? Should he fire him or should I quit? So you can tell he's already either you're going to fire me or I'm going to leave. You decide, in essence, is what he's telling him. So Ruett was able to calm him down. He was like, hey, dude, like, let's chill. It's just probably still coming down, off the high. And then
This is days later too, though, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and
I mean,
so
how long does it take to come off of LSD?
well,
I was thinking it was like the same day.
it's obviously
No idea.
everyone's physiology is different. Also, like LSD actually goes into your spinal. It goes into like your spinal fluid. So
So it's probably lasts longer than no.
so it lasts long. Yeah, I mean when I did it, it was like fucking 12, 14 hours. Like fucking
hour. Okay.
crazy.
Damn.
No, but you still your body's like fuck.
Like
Trying to get
kind
it out
of
of your system.
hungover or
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it for days.
Imagine like staying up, but no matter how much you drink, you won't pass out, but you keep drinking for 15 hours. Yeah, like it's like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then at the end you're like, I hate this.
Vegas.
Vegas. Oh my
Vegas.
God.
Sounds like Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And then the next morning you're just puking. Like,
real quick, just because I'm not knowledgeable in drug terminology, but is dropping acid the same as doing LSD?
100% same thing. Yeah.
It's the same. They're the same words.
Yeah.
Or I mean,
The
like
same thing.
meaning. Okay.
The same exact thing.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a different like 10 names. It's just like weed, pot,
Marijuana.
marijuana,
Yeah,
grass,
okay. Okay.
all that stuff.
Okay.
So Ruett later testified that Olsen was apparently got worse. He got worse the next day too.
Yeah.
He said he was disoriented. He felt all mixed up, and then like he felt all mixed up, not only like himself but about work.
Oh yeah.
And he felt like
his choices.
he felt like he couldn't do his job, and that was kind of what he kept saying to him. Like he felt incompetent in this field, and he can't do it anymore. So
But it was probably more morally.
Remorse. Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
it's probably a multitude. Like
He's like,
everything
maybe
combined.
he's like, this is so fucked up. I don't know
Right,
what I'm
that's
doing.
what I'm saying. Like,
I have
And
no
then-
idea
yeah.
what I'm doing.
and he's like,
and like you were saying, like it was probably the first time that he felt what he's doing to other people.
Yeah.
so on the next day, Tuesday, November 24th, he attempted to resign. So he was dissuaded by coworkers, and they ended up like talking, him and his boss and some of the other guys, and he's like, look, okay. So they ended up flying to New York. It was his boss, Ruett, him, Robert Lashbrook, who is Gottlieb's deputy. He was one of the guys who dosed him. He's also a doctor. And they were going to fly to New York to meet with a gentleman named Harold Abramson, who's a doctor who was a medical doctor linked to the CIA. Olsen had actually worked with him a few years prior, so he knew him.
Yeah.
So I think they were like, hey, we're going to get you some help. It was also noted that Olsen told his wife that he was going to seek psychiatric care.
So he's losing his mind.
Yeah, he's losing it.
His mind. But I don't understand. Why is he not fucking mad at these people for tricking him?
Bro, I'm sure he is mad.
But he's like chatting with them about his job, and it's just kind of like,
dude, it's also like it's a little different. It's not like he works at like Denny's, you know, and he's like, I want to quit.
And they're like, hey, we swapped out the hash browns.
I know, it's like he works like there's 12 motherfuckers the same clearance as him. It's not like, you know, it's like national security.
Gosh, I would be so mad at them though.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're like, they are so not coming over for dinner.
But I guess, but it sounds more and more like he lost his mind.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like he was teetering.
Yeah,
and like either that or he just
like lasting effects of the LSD. Honestly,
yeah, or that it's like or just being around these people just made him kept feeling progressively worse, and he probably like
everything.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. Yeah. So. Around 2 a.m. on the morning of Saturday, November 28th, so this is 4 days later, Olson plummeted onto the sidewalk in front of the Hotel Pennsylvania. The night manager rushed to Olson, who was still alive, and who tried to mumble something. That's quote. Olson died before medical help arrived. Years later, the night manager recalled, in all my years in the hotel business, I've never encountered a case where someone got up in the middle of the night, ran across a dark room, in his underwear, avoiding 2 beds, and dove through a closed window with the shade and curtains drawn. End quote.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's
all. Jumped out the window.
Dude, he
how many
got
floors?
up,
Does it say how many floors?
Got up, went around the beds, pitch black, in his underwear, dove through the fucking curtain,
shades,
the shade, the window.
Do you know how many floors it was?
I think it was 8. I don't know why I think 8. I think
so he died on impact.
No, he was alive.
Oh,
he was still alive.
And it couldn't have been that high.
And then he died. And then he died after. The manager came up to him and he was like, he was like still talking to him.
Artichoke.
He's like, what? I'm not hungry. What are you talking about?
Broccoli.
Artichoke. What does that mean? Damn it.
Sorry.
There's that much on the other side.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
So when police entered the room, they found Robert Lashbrook sitting on the toilet in the room he shared with Olson. Like, homie just jumped out the window and he's taking his shit. He's just sitting on the toilet.
Oh, my God.
They're out of their minds.
Dude. No,
they're out of their minds.
Lashbrook never did LSD. He's the one who dosed them.
Oh, he's the one that gave it to them. That's
Lashbrook's Gottlieb's deputy. Dude, that's what
he must have given it.
He's just sitting there.
Dude, the house guy's just taking his shit. They come up and he's like, "What's the problem?" I'm pooping. Like, can you close the door?
Oh, shit.
The homie just literally dove out the window. He had to break the window too.
What's the logical explanation of this?
So, dude,
I'm sure there's no like fucking autopsy or anything, of course.
No,
right?
what? So the guy in the toilet's like, "Fuck you," and he's like, and then he, I don't know.
I'm out of here.
What's
it's not worth it anymore. Fuck you.
I'm trying to think what logically could have happened.
I don't know.
Where he's still sitting in the toilet.
I think the only logical thing is like the shit smelled so bad that he had
or
to
no, like
escape.
or no, it happened and he's like, "Fuck it, it happened. He's dead."
He's like, "I'm gonna."
And
finish
then like
this poop.
10 minutes later, no, 10 minutes later, he's like, "Yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom."
He's like, "I'm not gonna call the cops. Fuck it." The motel switchboard operator, he reported having connected a call from room 1018A, that's the room they were in, to a number listed as belonging to Dr. Harold Abramson, the gentleman they went to see. Yeah. According to the operator who overheard the entirety of the brief call, the occupant in 1018A reported, "Well, he's gone." To which the call's recipient had replied, "Well, that's too bad." It's like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Well, he's gone. Too bad.
Oh, well.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
This is like
It doesn't make any sense.
Looney Tunes.
It's so weird.
Like Looney Tune behavior. I don't get it.
Yeah. And they call, like, why do you call? Well, he's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad. See you later.
That's crazy.
So,
That's wild.
Lashbrook's wallet contained the initials, address, and phone number of magician turned CIA asset John Mulholland. So Lashbrook claimed that he and Olson had visited Mulholland, although this is disputed by some. I guess it's just some like, it's just other tidbits of data, like, hey, was he connected and things like that.
P.S. I think I want to be a magician just so I
Turn
can...
CIA agent?
Yeah, like so it could be on my resume, like retired magician.
Or it's like additional skills, magician.
Yeah, in the past. In the past.
And so at the scene and in the written report, these are the two police officers discussed similarities to the 1948 Lawrence Duggan case in which a high-level government official suspected of espionage died after plummeting from his New York office. The ensuing police report said that on his last night in Manhattan, Olson purposely threw himself out of the window of his 10th floor hotel room. I think this was the 10th floor because they were in room 1018.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like similarities
He didn't
there.
die? Jesus.
Dude, I don't know, man. It must have been his speed from hitting the glass got slowed down.
He landed on his feet.
Or it's like one of those things.
Oh no! I hope he landed on his feet. Dude, no.
Or he was just like one of those things they say,
Was
like
he
if
a
you're
cat?
if you're falling, you're not supposed to brace yourself or whatever.
He was just like,
but he's just like tripping, so it's like everything's loose.
He just like bounces off the ground.
It's like snowboarding. It's like snowboarding. You're supposed to hold a fist when you fall so you don't break your fingers.
Oh,
so
smart.
maybe he's like.
No, I think people like drunk drivers, like they get in an accident, they kill someone, but like they don't get hurt because they're like.
That's what I'm saying.
They're just like their
because they don't
bodies
like tighten
They're
up.
just gonna like flail around.
Jesus Christ. I don't get it.
You don't get
I know. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't get. I don't get. Yeah.
The police report said that on his last night in Manhattan, Olson threw himself out the window of his 10th floor hotel room, which he'd been sharing with Lashbrook, and died shortly after impact. Meanwhile,
he did die from the fall.
Obviously he died from the fall.
But
not on impact.
He gurgled.
Right, it was not like instant on impact.
No, he was alive.
Yeah, but I mean, 60 seconds.
Why are you going to assign some arbitrary time to it? How do you know?
Well, because we were like, how did he survive 10 stories?
Right.
And then like he did die from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did he survive until he died?
Yeah. also, if he jumped out, he obviously didn't jump head first.
How do you know that?
Why not?
He would have died instantly.
Well, no, these 10 stories, there's time to like rotate.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did he jump out the window if it wasn't head first?
How did he like drop kick the window?
Yeah.
No, like
It's
Luke,
like sidekick it.
like
Luke
Luke Kang from Mortal Kombat.
The bicycle kick.
Yeah.
Man, we're gonna get into all these later, but like, did he jump or was he thrown?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
So that was the start of the craziness.
That was the start because I wanted to give everyone one of the more famous stories, especially because this guy was literally one of the 12 people who actually worked on MK Ultra.
Yeah.
And they dosed his ass.
Yeah.
Like nobody's safe. Hide your kids. Like nobody's safe
Nobody's
from
safe.
getting. They're dosing the employees. They're dosing everybody out here.
I mean, it sounds like LSD is a suicidal. I mean, the story sounds fucking crazy.
The story
it sounds insane. Like
the story's wild.
logical.
But the thing is, I can. This would make more sense if he was high on LSD when he jumped.
Oh right.
But he got off the LSD like 10
all
days prior.
No, but we don't know that, right? Like there's not an autopsy that says that he wasn't on LSD or something at the time that he died.
No, they just
but I mean, the data we do have
is like
earlier,
why would he do it again?
But,
the guy's like not happy.
But here's something that like I don't know if
they gave it.
I don't know if most people talk about this or know this, but I'm pretty sure that LSD, or I mean, based on that story, is LSD fucked him up from the get go. Yeah, meaning he took it and then he's like doesn't matter how many days, I am now crazy.
Oh, it's just like permanently like
it's in my system, and I lost myself.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think that LSD is definitely not a drug that one should do unwittingly. Like you need to like prepare yourself because you're gonna experience weird shit, and if you're not prepared to experience weird shit, you're gonna freak out, and it's gonna turn real bad. It's gonna be like the worst night of your life. So you should just not do drugs because. Then you'll never have to experience that problem. Just don't do it. It's so stupid. Don't do it. It's
but I mean, it seems like LSD. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I'm just throwing in my opinion here. It seems like LSD is what killed him.
I'm pretty sure the fall from the 10-story building killed him. I mean, I'm just gonna do a wild card here.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but are you saying
he jumped out of the window?
But are
I'm
you
just
saying the first time
he
did LSD, or are you saying that?
Well, from
LSD
what we know,
and then it made him jump out the window.
From what we know, that was the only time he did it.
From what we know, okay.
Well, he didn't want it. He didn't even do it. They gave
it
to him.
That's true.
It was so much.
He was like, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. I'm just saying it was so much on him, and it stayed. It obviously it was date coincident. Like 10 days later, he wants to leave, quit, give up, kill himself.
Well, Eric, do you really think that he was like, fuck my wife and kids, I'm gonna jump out this window?
No, I think he just went crazy from the LSD.
I know, because I was saying, like, because if someone's gonna kill himself at the window, he would probably open the blinds and like open the window and be like, oh, okay, I gotta I gotta hype myself up. Yeah, and I get ready to do this.
Also,
not just like
take a step out. They're
I'm taking it all out. Like, fuck it.
Also, is that if I was gonna do it?
Definitely
that's not the way I would.
No way.
That's not the way I would. Go.
My ideal is a grenade.
Really?
Quick, fucking boom.
Really?
No, there's no mistakes.
I would just do a gun.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
no, but the gun.
Bill Cobain.
The gun, you could still survive, bro. You could live, and you could be a vegetable. Grenade,
that's
no,
that sucks.
0% survival chance.
Not a shotgun. Not a shotgun. You don't have a chance.
Oh, if you do it like under the chin,
yeah, but that's messy.
It is messy. And your
that's what you're thinking about.
Closed casket. Yeah, your kids aren't gonna be able to mourn you.
I think I would go cyanide pill.
No, that's worse, dude.
No.
How's that worse?
Dude, cyanide death is terrible.
You're done. You're out, right?
No, that's the movies, bro.
No.
You don't die instantly. It doesn't
Hitler
work
did
that way.
Hitler did it.
Oh, really? Hitler did?
Well, we're not sure.
Is that why they burned his corpse?
We're not positive.
To briquettes.
Yeah, we're not positive.
No, cyanide doesn't kill you in a second. It doesn't work that way.
Well,
okay. Well, yeah, because we all watch James Bond movies.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I'm
fine. 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's fine. I went on a tangent, anyways.
But I'm just so you know, like cyanide pills, it leads to like insane nerve damage, rapid onset of extreme pain. Like it's. It's not like a fun.
It's not the quick.
It's not like fun.
Easy way to go.
Dude,
pain.
Right. That would be a great bad guy, though. Huh? That would be a great bad guy. So there's a bad guy, right? I take a cyanide pill. It doesn't work all the way. Half of my face melts off, and I'm the bad guy now. And I have like deformed. And they're like, and it's like, why are you the way you are? Oh, I had a failed cyanide.
That's from a movie.
Oh fuck! Really?
I'm pretty sure.
I can't have one original idea.
I'm pretty sure it's from. Yeah. It's from
what? Two-Face?
No,
like
I think it's from the last, the second to last Bond movie, Daniel Craig.
What?
Second to last Bond movie, Daniel Craig. It was with the guy who's
Javier Bardem,
and he's like, he takes out the mask and he's like teeth out. He's like, you see what you've done to me.
That wasn't from Cyanide.
Oh, yes, it was.
Sometimes I think
because he was an agent,
yeah.
and he was supposed to kill himself,
yeah.
but it just like nuked his face and he didn't die, and they tortured him
anyways.
anyways. Okay.
See, sometimes I think I'm creative,
but you're not.
But really, it's just a movie I watched in '98, or some shit.
I'm pretty sure
you're like, I got a great idea.
Yeah.
He's like, and then I'll be the bad guy, and I'll be Spanish.
Check it out. It's called
be Spanish.
I'll be Spanish. I'm gonna be Javier, and this will be great.
Check it out. It's Pepsi with a twist. Pepsi twist.
Eric's like, you ever wonder like if Bud Light had like a lime flavor? Like, hear me out.
All right.
Well, anyways, we have a lot more coming for you. Episode 2.
That's right.
Definitely want to hear your insights. I want to know if you guys knew about this story and Ken Olsen and this whole rigmarole.
It's wild.
You're gonna want to tune in next Tuesday because like shit gets way wilder. Dude. It's just so out of control.
It's crazy that this is also sanctioned by our government.
And this is why I don't trust government. You guys fucking always call me like, look at Sean, he's fucking and you wonder why I don't trust him.
That's true. All right, well, we'll catch you guys next time.
Yes, thanks again. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave us reviews, make sure to email us because we love you guys.
info@theconspiracypodcast.com.
That's right.
And nighty night.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast, everybody.
Part deuce.
Let's go.
MK Ultra.
Michelob Ultra. So picking up where we left off, obviously we left things on as we typically do on the Conspiracy Podcast, leave things on the lowest possible note. Yeah. Usually someone dying in a shitty way. And so that's where we left it. I wanted to get into another of their operations, and this one is my personal favorite name. Might even be my stripper stage name, Operation Midnight Climax.
That's definitely your stage name.
Midnight Climax.
Who comes up with these names?
I don't know. I wish I was
broccoli, artichoke, ultra climax.
I wish I was like the person like
paperclip. Started with paper.
The HR assistant. They're like, "What's the next name of the program?" Like, Midnight Climax. But this one actually makes a lot of sense, though.
Okay.
Once I get into it, it actually makes a lot of sense.
But real quick, if you haven't listened to episode 1, come on, go back to part 1. You know what I mean? Come on. Because we're just jumping back in. So in episode 1, it was really the history, the formation, Project Artichoke.
Who created LSD.
Yeah, the whole LSD story. The guy jumping out the window. He's jumping, he's karate kicking it out the window. It's like all that stuff. So go back, listen to part 1, and then you can dive into part 2.
And then we'll allow you to listen to part 2.
That's right.
So, Operation Midnight Climax. So that began in 1954. This is a year after, obviously,
Artichoke.
MK Ultra was created in 53.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And so
this is a parallel project?
No, so they're all under the umbrella of MK Ultra.
Oh, okay.
So it's spin-offs, but they're all under the MK Ultra umbrella.
Let's test this thing, or let's test this other thing.
got you.
Yeah,
this people.
There's like different tactics, really.
Yeah, okay.
So this consisted of a web of CIA-run safe houses in San Francisco at 225 Chestnut Street.
Really?
In San Francisco.
Okay.
Also,
I know where that is.
In
Actually. Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I do.
Were you part of it?
No, I lived in Lower Pacific Heights for a while.
I have no idea where
It's
that
not,
is.
it's not that close to that, but you know.
But you know where it is.
It's like
for,
a
those,
nice, like,
for those San Francisco folks.
It's like a nice Chinese restaurant.
I think no, not really close to Chinatown, but like, yeah.
All right.
There's Pacific Heights, which is where the rich people were, because it's a hill.
So that's why you said. That's why you made a note to say that's where you lived. I lived in.
No, I lived in Lower Pacific Heights.
Oh, so like the slums of like.
Well, it's like
I
the
thought he was
middle.
like
It's
dropping
like
a subtle, that's where the rich people.
Oh, the Pacific Heights.
No, I lived in the lower Pacific Heights. Yeah.
So I was like upper middle class.
No, but you know how there's all those hills, you know?
Yeah,
sure.
So the I guess the
like
lower class,
like the Full House.
Yeah, actually, yeah, right there. No, but so the lower class, the hill, living on top of the hill was the best because
you look down on the peasants.
Yeah, and nobody wanted to hike up.
Oh, so all the bums were
Yes,
like, fuck it.
So they're down
Quit.
at the bottom. Yeah, so they're down at the bottom.
Pooping on the streets at the bottom.
The tenderloin and stuff is down at the bottom.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Okay.
This was also in.
And that's your lesson in San Francisco.
Nobody cares. So this is also in Mill Valley, California, as well as in New York City.
Okay.
Where they have these safe houses. So just like MK Ultra, obviously this is a spin-off program under it. And this was considered so secretive that only few people in the highest positions knew Gottlieb existed and was conducting these experiments. So it's very, very compartmentalized.
Less than the original 12.
Exactly.
So it's super limited. Yeah.
So pretty much this was established in order to study the effects of LSD on non-consenting individuals specifically.
Awesome. This is like drug rape.
Literally. It is drug rape. Watch.
Yeah, okay.
So prostitutes on the CIA payroll were instructed to lure clients, aka Johns, back to the safe houses where they were then plied with a wide range of substances, including LSD, and monitored behind one-way glass. So in essence, you pick up a hooker and you're like, oh yeah, it's about to go down. They're in the room next to you with one-way glass staring in.
No way.
And the chick's dosing you with LSD and you're like, oh, it's like a hundo for the full McCoy. All right. And then you're like, what's happening? Why do I?
No way.
Why is your face all weird? And then they're just like watching. They're like, good.
So they dose him up with LSD.
Oh yeah, the prostitutes were on the payroll of CIA. They're actually prostitutes, and CIA is employing them, and they would bring them back and they would dose them.
They must not have been paid much because otherwise, why would you keep being a prostitute?
Yeah. Oh no, they just
you're on payroll.
You get your regular prostitute rate,
right? Like
here's the payroll. We won't arrest you.
Yeah, it's like $50 extra. You know, it's not like a payroll.
Look, you get paid. I wonder how much they knew too, because
they're not getting $75 a year.
Like Benny's
401k. Yeah, they're not getting a
401k match.
Yeah, they're getting an extra $50.
I know. Probably less, honestly, at this time, the 50s.
That's crazy. Right. That's wild. That sucks.
So the prostitutes were instructed in the use of post-coital questioning to investigate victims. They were pretty much like schooled in this type of questioning to find out whether the victims could be convinced to involuntarily reveal secrets. The victims were sometimes fed subliminal messages in attempts to induce them to involuntary actions, including criminal activities such as robbery, assault, and assassination. So they're literally just trying to make lonely fucking dudes into assassins.
Sucks. They're just trying to get
a nut off and like just trying to get bust. And they're like, hey.
And it turns into a whole scandal.
I know he's like, oh, and they're like, kill, death. Yes, kill, hit.
Yeah.
And going back to episode 1 where we were talking about, it was one of the scientists that was testing these biological weapons and airborne.
That's Olsen.
Olsen. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, there you go. One of the things that they were doing is like, because you might be wondering, like, well, aren't the prostitutes also high off their ass? Like, how they?
Yeah.
So what they would do is they would get these guys in there. They would, release this gas or whatever that had the LSD in it, while the prostitutes go like in the bathroom or something, like kind of hide. And then these guys, and then they come back in after they're all high and shit. So then I'm just saying, like, that's how. The prostitutes weren't also.
Yeah, they're like, oh, fucking, and they're like, perfect. This is a perfect test subjects.
So they're all just fucked up. That's crazy. That's nuts.
All right, so
that's nuts.
Dude,
If that's true,
dude, it is true.
It's almost unbelievable.
But dude, it gets worse.
Yeah,
it gets worse than this. So
but it does sound unbelievable, doesn't it?
No,
not really.
No.
You can't put anything past this government, man.
I mean, come on. They dose their own guys.
Yeah.
But maybe when we say the government.
What? These are CIA.
They're CIA agents.
They're government officials.
Yeah, but they're representatives of the government.
They
but they're not necessarily. It's not like sanctioned by.
It's sanctioned by the CIA.
Government.
This was sanctioned by the CIA, which
But
is
you got,
a government
like, rogue
institution.
Guys, you got rogue.
Dude, you realize that this MK Ultra was sanctioned by the director of the CIA.
Dulles, yeah. Okay.
How is this rogue? He runs the CIA. He's the
but maybe
number one
didn't.
dude.
Maybe he didn't know that it was like, hey, let's get the hookers. Let's get the hookers high, and then put a plexiglass, and then get the other guy high, and then you know what I mean? Like maybe it was like a vagary.
You sound.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Erica's very naive. Eric's all fucking peaches and rainbows and fucking butterflies.
Anyways,
government
just
loves
saying.
us.
No,
I'm trying to always find the positive.
I know.
Like,
they're good people.
They didn't know.
They are not bad. So many of the CIA operatives involved in the experiments voluntarily indulged in the drugs and prostitutes for recreational purposes.
Sure, that makes sense. That makes fucking 100% sense.
They're like, well, since you're here, you've already been paid.
Yeah.
I mean, might as well.
See, what I always find,
worth.
what I always find, and this is, I was heartbroken when I found out later in life, is that in movies, the CIA agents, the FBI agents, they're all like golden boys. Like Tom Hanks.
I know.
They're like
I would
good.
never do anything.
Like, I'm Tom Hanratty.
Carl Hanratty.
Carl Hanratty. I'm like a good person. But that is real life.
And they're like,
where it's like, you know what? I'm tired. Let's go.
And he's like, no, you keep your tits out.
Yeah,
that's fine.
that to me is real life, where it's they're in the environment. And they slip up.
And he's like, whoopsies, a little LSD in my mouth. Yeah. What happened? Oopsie daisies. How'd that happen?
Destiny, do you mind if I get a freebie?
Destiny. I got an extra Benjamin here. That's just
got your name on it.
Information from Wilmington News Journal on October 15th, 1978. Reports from the Freedom of Information Act request that, quote unquote, the spy agency purchased 2 pounds of yohimbine hydrochloride. So what that is, so yohimbine behaves as an aphrodisiac in some mammals, but not in humans.
Okay.
So for humans, it used to be prescribed as a treatment for erectile dysfunction.
So is this like the shit you see at 7-Eleven?
Yohimbine.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like $1.99.
Get it, rock off.
Yeah. It's like Arabian root. And you're like, yeah, maybe
Pump it up.
Yeah.
Pump it up. Pump it up. Naturally. Natural extracts only. No, so literally,
I'm gonna start an ED company called MK Ultra.
You should.
They'd be rich.
But dude, I thought that was the funniest thing. It's like literally like on their own dime, the CIA is like, We need some Viagra. Literally, but like, it's for the experiments. It's for the test subjects, not for us.
Imagine if they could sell on Amazon. Oh, they would kill it.
God, they would destroy it.
Midnight Climax.
Climax.
I know.
That's what we should start the company called. Midnight Climax.
That's it. I'm stealing it. I'm taking it.
So this was purchased by Robert Lashbrook, if you remember who is.
He was the guy taking a shit.
It was Sidney. Yeah, it was Sidney's deputy and the guy taking a shit when Olsen died.
Yeah, when he karate chopped out the window.
I know, seriously. The role of Dr. Lashbrook was to monitor and approve materials for Operation Midnight Climax, aka hook his boys up.
So he's
because they're struggling.
He's the purchasing agent.
Yeah,
he's the purchasing agent for MK Ultra.
He's like, oh, okay, you guys need some more LSD? Okay, need some Vic pills? Okay, fine, I guess.
These people suck.
I know, dude.
No wonder Olsen karate chopped out the window.
Dude,
he knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? He knew where this was headed.
Thrown out the window, dog.
Oh, okay, okay.
Senate investigators were
That's
told.
what we were saying on episode 1.
I didn't get that. I didn't understand that the whole time.
What the fuck?
I did really.
Literally, me and
Why
Jorge,
did you guys say it?
We
then?
went into a dissertation of like, if you're gonna jump out the window, you would open the blinds, you'd open the window, you'd be
I know, but
looking
you
down.
didn't say to me. God, you guys beat around the bush.
I mean, it seemed pretty fucking obvious. We're picking up the.
Okay, if you go back to episode 1, not once did you guys say he was killed.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I don't know if we said it.
Eric,
was killed.
don't edit it out. If it's there, you cannot fucking edit it out. Like, I know, he's like, you didn't say it. It's like, delete. It's like, Adobe says, you did not say it. Senate investigators were told that the goals of these experiments were to study mind control and sexual behavior. More specifically, it was to learn about the secrets of brainwashing to gain control over enemy spies and protect U.S. agents. Yeah. I feel like they have to say that. They're like, this is for America.
Oh, of course.
Look, I only had sex with those hookers.
We're patriots here.
For the good of American citizens.
What do they say? What's the line? National security.
National security.
It's for
national security.
Everything falls under national
She was
security.
paid for services rendered. She had to render services. National security.
Yeah. I needed her to tickle my balls because national security.
Because what if the Soviets were doing the same thing? Yeah. We had to be on the same level. We can't let them damn commies beat us at their own game.
I need to know if Sergey would release from a tickled ball.
If Sergey would release. If Sergey would climax at midnight.
Yes. With an artichoke.
No. Yeah. So other objectives included finding drugs that could incapacitate entire buildings via poison food, which could create, and I quote, confusion, anxiety, fear. So in essence, because they drop some gas into a building of high-profile people, and everyone's like freaking the fuck out. These drugs could also have amnesia effects, which were intended for the use on foreign spies following interrogations and retiring CIA agents. So like, you're like, let's say you're Olsen, you have all this like high-level intel. They're like, forget, you don't know anything, you know shit. Yeah. Or like they interrogate someone, like they send them back to their country. They're like, I wasn't interrogated. What are you talking about?
Right. It does seem like an interrogation tactic.
I mean, this is I can see like,
okay, well, we've beat him up enough. Let's try new things. So let's drug him.
Yeah.
Let's, it seems like it seemed okay.
Yeah,
I can kind of see.
Yeah, I can see it, but it's also still criminal.
Yeah, no, it's inhumane. Yeah. That is actually the word.
Yeah,
inhumane.
It's like Geneva Convention shit.
Yeah,
fucking for real. Yeah. So another aspect they tested was the effect of combining LSD and isolation. Terrible idea.
This
is what I told you about in the closet thing. Yeah. So where the subjects would be dosed and isolated for months at a time with minimal food and water. Like, what the fuck?
Inhumane.
Have you ever seen Zero Dark 30?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that was
torture. That was about the Bin Laden thing, right?
No, I know, but it was all about torture and how to
they had that
methodology of torture and that sort of thing.
Wasn't that camp in what's that place? Guantanamo?
Guantanamo,
yeah.
Where like laws don't exist.
Yes. They had like Britney Spears blasting for hours.
Dude, it's so fucked up. The safe houses were dramatically scaled back in 1963. This was following a report by the CIA Inspector General John Ehrman, which strongly recommended closing the facilities. The San Francisco safe houses were closed in 1965, and the New York City safe house soon followed in 1966. Okay. So they eventually were like, you gotta stop fucking hookers, guy. Yeah. Like, you gotta stop. We're done.
10 years of this shit, it's like, that's enough.
Yeah, like, stop. Like, fucking, come on.
Damn.
So next thing I wanted to get into, so obviously this cover.
What year are we at? Like 60.
So the stories we're getting into, they're kind of fluctuating. Like, so obviously, like Midnight Climax began in 54 and shut down in the mid 60s.
Mid 60s. Okay.
So that I wanted to kind of touch on different subjects because obviously this is unwilling participants. So the next thing I'm going to get into is actually willing and people who I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is about Ken Kesey. And as well as some other individuals. So Ken Kesey, at the invitation of his neighbor and also Stanford psychology graduate student Vic Laval, Kesey volunteered to take part in what turned out to be a CIA finance study under the name of MKUltra. So this was at
This is like a fucking ad in the paper.
Dude, they probably just said like, you know, like it's on like a
come on in, MKUltra,
like a telephone pole, and like you rip a number off, and you're like, yeah, fuck it.
Crazy.
It's like, you want to make $8? Okay. I'm interested.
Do you want to bang hookers on Midnight Ultra Climax? Yes. Okay, sign me up.
Midnight Ultra Climax.
Honey, this is a government sanctioned thing, and I'm making money for the family.
I mean, it's kind of enticing. So this all happened at Menlo Park Veterans Hospital.
What? Menlo Park?
Yeah.
I know exactly where that is.
I mean, yeah, this is in California. This is by Stanford. So.
By Stanford.
Oh, yeah. Right. So Kesey actually worked at Menlo Park Veterans Hospital as a night aide. So the project studied the effects of psychedelic drugs, particularly LSD, psilocybin, which is mushrooms, mescaline, which is another fucking huge. I don't know if you've ever seen Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. They're doing mescaline all the time. Yeah. Oh my God, it's what Hunter S. Thompson. It's fucking Johnny Depp.
Right.
And dude, it's crazy.
Really?
It's wild.
It's like a drug trip.
Oh, it's like him and like Benicio del Toro, and it's just like madness. It's like madness. The whole movie's crazy. Cocaine, AMT, and DMT. So the AMT and DMT are both. AMT stands for A-methyltryptamine, and DMT stands for dimethyltryptamine. Okay. They're both extraordinarily powerful hallucinogens. Like extraordinarily powerful.
Okay. Like more than LSD?
In my opinion, yes.
Oh.
I wonder why we haven't heard of those. Have you heard of that?
No, I never heard of that.
I've never heard of that at all.
Yeah,
These are like lab.
Well, technically, DMT is present in like 98% of carbon-based life forms, like including
orange juice?
Plants. It's in the grass and shit like that. Oh. But supposedly, DMT is released in very extremely small quantities when you dream.
Huh.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. I've done it.
I'm more confused.
No.
Just some hardcore shit.
Some deep dive shit. Like, some like fucking rabbit hole shit. So Eric's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I just wanted to give people what does this mean?
Yeah, no, I understand.
So Kesey wrote many detailed accounts on his experiences with these drugs, both during the study as well as in the years of private drug use that followed. So he was doing the drugs himself, Stanford grad. So Kesey's role as a medical guinea pig, as well as his stint working at the hospital, they inspired him to write One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Wow.
Yeah, so Ken Kesey wrote that book, yeah.
Wow.
So he frequently entertained friends and many others with parties he called acid tests, involving music, black lights, fluorescent paint, strobe lights, LSD, and then other psychedelic effects. Yeah, he'd have people over and be like, let's all get lit.
This is also like a bunch of hippies back then, right?
Oh, it's the 60s, baby.
Yeah, so everybody's like, oh, yeah, I'm
free
down.
love,
I'm down
free
with that.
man.
You're just slipping and sliding everywhere, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just slipping, you got butts and dicks and boobs. You don't know what's what.
I mean, I haven't worn clothes in 6 days. And you're like, fuck it. So these parties were described in some of Allen Ginsberg's poems, and it served as a basis for Tom Wolfe's The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. Wow. It was an early exemplar of the nonfiction novel. Other first-hand accounts of the acid test appear in Hell's Angels, The Strange and Terrible Saga of the Outlaw Motorcycle Gang, that's by Hunter S. Thompson, as well as the 1967 Hell's Angels memoir, Free Willin' Frank, Secretary of the Angels. So it was by Frank Reynolds. So it's interesting that The Hells Angels kind of ties into that. They were probably all on LSD too.
Yeah.
There were other notable people who reportedly volunteered for CIA-backed experiments with LSD. Some of those are Robert Hunter, who is a Grateful Dead lyricist. Makes sense. Total sense. Also Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Also James Joseph Bulger, always known as Whitey Bulger, who was
Boston.
the notorious Boston mobster, played by Johnny Depp
I didn't know
in the movie.
That's cool.
Was it called Black Mass?
Black Mass.
That's a movie about Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
Pretty good movie. So that's just wanted to kind of give you guys a little insight into people who were like, I'm down. Like,
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I'm gonna keep doing it.
They're the willing participants.
Oh yeah, they were like loving it. They were loving the ride. So now we're gonna get into experiments abroad.
Ooh, abroad.
Well, mostly just Canada.
It doesn't count.
It's not really abroad. It's America's hat. America's hat. So the CIA exported experiments to Canada. When they recruited Scottish psychiatrist Donald Ewan Cameron, he was the creator of what was called psychic driving. It's another fucking weird thing. I didn't want to get into it. But so the CIA was like, this is interesting. Like this guy's on the same level as us. We should recruit this guy. He'd been hoping to correct schizophrenia by erasing existing memories and reprogramming the psyche. So it's like this guy's like
I can understand
this guy's like the poster child of, oh sweet, I want to try to reprogram someone's like mind. Like,
I can understand that.
He wasn't doing maliciously. Like he's just trying to help.
Yeah, say you don't know what to do, and psychology, psychiatric, mental health, everything was at its formative stage.
Yeah.
And you're like trying to go, hey, how do I help this guy who has schizophrenia?
Yeah,
right?
by giving him LSD.
No. Before
Smart.
that, but your initial purpose is to go, hey, I think I need to wipe out his traumatic war memories.
Yeah.
I kind of get the view of, okay, trying to figure out how to help them.
Okay, fine. I get the view. I disagree with the action.
Yeah, no. I wasn't. I'm not saying that it was the right move. I'm just saying the original. It sounds like the original desire.
He's like, didn't want to be. He's like trying to be a good guy, and then became a piece of shit.
Yes.
The classic fall from grace.
Yeah, classic. Yeah, classic.
He would commute from Albany to Montreal every week.
Holy shit.
To work at the Allen Memorial Institute of McGill University. He was paid $69,000 from 1957 to 1964.
Whoa, he was killing it.
But dude, no, I got the adjusted for inflation. That's $579K.
Damn,
yeah.
Big dollars, baby.
Big money.
Rich. This wasn't about schizophrenia at all. It's about the bank account.
That's true, honestly.
So this was to carry out MK Ultra experiments, and they called them the Montreal experiments, as they were called. These research funds were sent to Cameron by a CIA front organization, which they called the Society for the Investigation of Human Ecology.
Fuck.
And as shown in internal CIA documents, Cameron did not know the money came from the CIA. He thought it was from an actual organization.
Yeah.
He maybe, quote unquote, wasn't aware of the CIA. They're like, you don't know who I work for.
I'm gonna give you this fucking $500,000 a year, but it doesn't come.
Yeah,
from
like
us.
shut up.
Like it's like
we really like your research. Give him more LSD. Do you want your checks or not? More LSD, sir.
It's crazy what money will change your.
I know they're like, this isn't illegal. They're paying me. It's good money. It's good cash.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, you should put on your feet on OnlyFans."
Who the fuck told you that? Your feet?
No, not my feet, but like a girl. No, like a girl, and we were talking about like, oh. Like, what would it take for you to be okay with it? Does that make sense? Like,
I mean, I personally
like how much money? Yeah, and it's just your feet.
Yeah,
I personally hate feet.
No, I know, but
anybody
I'm
pays
just
for
saying,
my feet.
I'm just saying, what would it take?
I understand.
Monetary wise, what would it take for you to be okay with it?
No, I totally understand that.
Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying.
Because you do more good with the. Say it was $1 million.
Dude, fuck yeah!
I know.
I put a picture of my fucking butthole on fucking OnlyFans for fucking $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you need? Tell me what to do.
There you go. But that was the conversation. Was what at what point?
So what's your number?
Feet?
Yeah.
Dude, feet? I'm like fucking $60.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'd do it for $1,000.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
$1,000.
I hate feet. I'm like, here, take them. They're yours.
I know.
Like, fuck
You
it.
gotta take a picture.
What's your number?
Man, I put some AI feet
so
on
yeah.
there.
No.
It's like $10.
No.
Let's
They have
go.
to be real. It has to be real.
I mean,
what's your number?
Sure, $1,000.
1,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'm sorry if any of our listeners are like the foot folk.
Probably not.
I know, right? It's not worth it at a certain point. Yeah.
If any of our listeners are the foot folk, I apologize, but if anyone would actually pay money, like physical money,
it's all the time
to look at someone's feet.
Oh, it's all the time.
You need to really.
It's millions of dollars. It's millions of dollars, though.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's insanity.
But people pay that all day long for sure.
But the argument was the moral question of what monetary value do you
here's the thing.
Okay, because that's what we're talking about. Is this guy is $500,000?
My thing is like at least it's just feet. When he gets more than that, then I'm like,
in your face.
No, well, like your body. Yeah,
10,000.
10?
10 for sure.
10?
100%. Are you kidding me?
5.
Nah, probably 10.
10. So 10's your number.
10. Well, 10 would be like
full frontal.
Yeah, 10. I'm like, okay, I can pay off a lot of them more. I can pay off some debt. I'm thinking practically. I'm like, that's practical.
That's the thing. That's the argument. Is what
I wouldn't show my face. I wouldn't show my face.
Yeah, no. But what number makes it so you could do more good than what you're doing, which is maybe not good? Does that make sense?
But it's a little different.
We feel it's not good.
It's a little different
morally.
It's a little different than like take LSD.
Yeah. No, I know, but that number
against your will
for that guy, it was $500,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no, technically it was $69K.
Well, yeah.
In the 50s.
Yeah, but today,
in the 50s. So, anyways,
went down a rabbit hole there. Fucking OnlyFans rabbit hole.
I know. We're like, what? Tell me your number. Show me your dick right now. I got 10. Take it out.
I got 10 grand. I got 10 grand right now.
Dude, I guarantee we're gonna get some weird emails after this.
Yeah.
They're like,
absolutely.
So what's your Venmo? Send it. So in addition,
and you're gonna respond.
In addition, I'll be like, I'm gonna need to see the funds first. Like, sir. So in addition to LSD, Cameron also experimented with various paralytic drugs, which is even more terrifying. Jesus Christ. He had also experimented with electroconvulsive therapy at 30 to 40 times the normal power. This guy was a total piece of shit. That's when they literally shoot electricity through your body as in some weird way. They were like, this will make you feel better.
So they tie you down.
Oh, fucking tie you
down.
Put some mouth guard in.
And then they put some shit on your temples, right? Like
I believe most of the time they shock your temples because it was like an old barbaric way of mental health treatment.
Right.
Just like when they give you like lobotomy, they're like, oh yeah, if we just like
it's kind of like bloodletting, right?
Huh?
Well, like bloodletting is you're like, get rid of the bad blood.
Yeah, but instead they're like, we're gonna fry you.
Yeah, well, because I think they did experiments and they go, okay, your brain does have electrical
impulses,
right?
Yeah,
so they go, oh, if there is electricity there, then if we just add more,
like extensively more,
if we turn it up, you know what I mean? Then
pump up the volume.
I guess I don't know.
Because the whole point is that they are trying to program these people so that they don't remember, right? And so that was
So
supposedly what this therapy is supposed to do is like.
But my thing is like, why is he using paralytics? Let me paralyze you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to shock you with 30 to 40 times the normal level.
So he doesn't have to deal with people fucking like freaking out or like
30 to 40 times the normal.
I'm not justifying. I'm just saying.
That's a lot.
Anyway, so his experiments consisted of putting.
That's the right word, barbaric.
It's barbaric. It's barbaric.
Yeah, it's pretty barbaric.
It's like saying, trust me, I'm just going to cut off your leg. I think it's going to make you feel better on the head.
I mean, that's like it's weird the evolution of treatment.
Trust me on this one,
right? Civil War, it was like just cut it off.
I know they're here. Bite on this spoon.
Cut it off, yeah.
Bite the spoon,
and then you
I'm gonna pour some whiskey on it.
And then before that was bloodletting, so like get rid of the dirty blood.
I mean, bloodletting is actually like. In a weird way, it's not like super wrong because like you think of like dialysis.
Like super barbaric.
No, because it's like to take some blood out and you're like, I'm feeling a little weak.
Compared to cut your leg off and fucking electroshock you.
This is.
I'll let some blood out.
I'll let some blood out.
That's where you need to live.
You don't take all of it out, Eric,
dude.
You also need your brain. You need your fucking brain to live.
George Washington pretty much died from bloodletting.
George Washington also lived in a time where the medical, he had wooden teeth.
They were like, "Oh, you have a flu. Just go."
George Washington's teeth were made of wood.
Well, dentures.
And he was
They're
like 20.
early dentures.
But he was 20.
I know this.
And he had fucking
but he
dentures.
didn't
I mean,
have-
come on.
There's no dentistry. There's no dentistry. We didn't brush our teeth.
His experiments consisted of putting subjects into drug-induced comas for weeks at a time, up to 3 months in one case, while playing tape loops of noise or simple repetitive statements. So this is torture.
Yeah, there was
This
one.
is literal torture. This is actual torture.
There was one that I heard, or when I was researching, there was this guy, put him in this coma or whatever, and they had this tape, your mom hates you, your mom hates you, your mother hates you, your mother hates you,
dude,
whatever,
that's
for
so
fucking
messed up.
days. And they just fucking wake
so
up.
I know you wake up and you're like, fuck you, mom.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's little torture.
I know we make these jokes about them, but when you take the cases individually, it's super messed up.
Oh, it's messed up,
It's
man.
so fucked up.
Because that messes you up.
When you think about it, like
forever, like
oh,
I, mean, I don't want to say forever,
rest of
but
your
like
life.
hopefully,
Yeah, I mean,
not hopefully,
I was gonna say, like, you think about it, like, you have such a deep connection with your mom, so they want to fuck with that and like see if
sever that.
Yeah,
Well, the
they
thing
want
is,
to
like,
sever
the
that
thing
and
is,
see
like,
if they could.
If we can sever that, we can sever anything.
Exactly.
You know.
God, that's
fucked up.
Dude, so this guy's pretty much torture artist.
Yeah, that sucks.
This guy's a piece of shit.
I'm getting upset.
His experiments were often carried out on patients who entered the institute for common problems like anxiety disorders or postpartum depression, many of whom suffered permanent effects from his actions. They'd come up with something like normal and they'd leave like...
And did they know?
No, they would go in and he's like, oh, you're going to get treated. I got you. And like, you fucked up.
Yeah.
So his treatments resulted in victims' urinary incontinence, amnesia.
What does that mean? Urinary incontinence?
You start peeing yourself. You just can't control your pee.
Okay.
Yeah, amnesia, forgetting how to talk. There's a big one, like the chick literally had to relearn how to talk. Forgetting their parents and thinking thinking their interrogators were their parents. Like, that's how fucked up these people got. So,
God, that sucks.
During this era, Cameron became known worldwide as the first chairman of the World Psychiatric Association, as well as the president of both the American Psychiatric Association and the Canadian Psychiatric Association, and he was also a member of the Nuremberg Medical Tribunal in 1946 through 1947. So, like, this guy is, like, this well-respected guy, and he's literally just fucking people's lives over.
Wow.
Like, that, to me, was, like, a really big whoa.
Yeah.
Like, wowzers.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Strange. Where were human rights back then?
Apparently it didn't exist.
Like basic, you know what I mean? Like basic...
I think that people
same as now, like
yeah, but I mean, yeah.
I mean, there is like things like the Baker Act and stuff like.
But I mean, now can't you be semi-protected by?
Well, I mean, for example, like I said,
it's even worse.
No, there's a thing called the Baker Act. So the Baker Act allows pretty much. Let's say I could literally call the authorities and be like, Eric's acting crazy. Like he's a threat to himself. You should take him, and they can literally take you against your will.
You said that.
Because anyone says it.
No.
Look it up, bro. Want to bet?
No. There has to be some evidence.
I don't know about anyone.
Want to bet?
So I can... No.
Yes, you can.
I'll look it up.
You should.
That seems crazy.
It is crazy.
Like if your teacher...
If it's a third party...
If a teacher says, like,
if
hey, this kid...
a third party... Yeah, exactly. If your child, they're a threat to themselves... They're acting crazy. They're exhibiting all these symptoms.
Or they mention fucking like school shooting or something, right?
They can take your kid from your house, away from you. Without you literally.
It's the Baker Act. I'm gonna write that down.
It's called the Baker Act.
I'm gonna read that.
Yeah, it's super fucked up. They're trying to get it repealed because it's bullshit.
And what do they have to take you into like the hospital or whatever?
Examination,
for like a couple days or whatever.
It's like a mandatory, you have a mandatory holding period.
Yeah.
The fact that it's against your will and it's against the will of like your family members, which is like super fucked up. So in 1973, this was amid the government widespread panic about Watergate. Like, you know, all this shit's shit's going down.
The government. This is when people really were like, "Whoa, the government sucks."
I know they're really doing this kind of shit.
Yeah, like this is real.
I know before America.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Now people are like, "Oh, damn, we're fucked."
They started questioning Vietnam. They started questioning the government, Watergate, spying.
True.
Exactly.
Drugging,
And this actually, at this time, there was a lot of change that came about from, this stuff. But obviously, it sucks that it happened. The CIA director, Richard Helms, ordered all the MK Ultra files to be destroyed. Literally in 1973. He's like, destroy them all. Pursuant to this order, almost all of them were. except for like there was like a cache of like 20,000 documents. So at this time, they were like, destroy it all, and it makes it impossible to do a full investigation of MKUltra.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't find out who's responsible. You can't name names. So there was a cache of 20,000 documents that survived. Is because they were incorrectly stored as financial records in a financial records building. So they were financial records, but they weren't stored with the other files.
Yeah.
So they were in like a separate financial records building. 20,000 documents. So this was discovered.
This is like building 12 at 9/11.
Exactly. It was like the Pentagon where they're like, oopsie daisies.
That one went down too.
That $3 trillion is gone. Ships. Our accountants really fucked that one up. So this was discovered following a Freedom of Information Act request in 1977, where they found these documents. They were fully investigated during Senate hearings in 77. But back in 74, the New York Times alleged that the CIA conducted illegal domestic activities, including experiments on U.S. citizens during the 60s. And then that report prompted more investigations by Congress. And this was in the form of what's called the Church Committee, as well as a commission known as the Rockefeller Commission. So they look.
It's crazy. Anytime I hear that name,
I'm like,
I think like dirty conspiracy.
I know,
right? Don't you think of?
Oh yeah,
Rockefeller.
Yeah, Rockefeller. They're like
world domination.
World domination.
They're
right?
like, nothing bad happened.
Why have we not done an episode on that?
They were totally above board.
Actually, we had a couple fans who reached out on that one.
We listen.
Yeah, we're gonna do that one.
We listen. These two committees and commissions, they looked into the illegal domestic activities of the CIA, the FBI, as well as other intelligence-related agencies. In the summer of 75, the Congressional Church Committee, which is headed by Frank Church, that's why it's called the Church Committee, they had reports as well as the Rockefeller Commission report revealed to the public for the first time that the CIA and the Department of Defense had conducted experiments on both unwitting as well as cognizant human subjects as part of their extensive program to find out how to influence and control human behavior through the use of psychoactive drugs such as LSD, mescaline, other chemical and biological and psychological means. So that was the first time that the U.S., the public actually found out that this happened.
Yeah.
Unless you were like involved and like they did it to you.
First time in the news or in the release documents.
Yeah, so that was in 75, so 12 years after it started.
Yeah.
And so they also revealed that at least one subject, Frank Olson, which we covered, had died after being in administration of LSD.
Right.
I mean, granted, it was 10 days later. It was a little sus circumstances, but killed.
Karate chop.
Much of what the Church Committee and the Rockefeller Commission learned about MKUltra was contained in a report that was prepared by the Inspector General's office in 1963. That was pretty much from the documents that had survived the purge the guy was like, destroy the documents,
shred them all,
burn them.
Yeah.
So, however, that initial report from the Inspector General, it contained, in essence, little detail at all. Like it was very nebulous. Sidney Gottlieb, who had retired from the CIA 2 years previously, he
the bad guy.
Yeah, this is the guy who like ran the show.
Yeah.
He was interviewed by the committee, but claimed to have very little recollection of the activity.
God.
I don't know. He did. I'm not sure what happened.
Sure he did.
Can't recall. Can't recall.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. The Congressional Committee investigated the CIA research, and then they concluded that prior consent was obviously not obtained for any of these subjects. Like they're like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And so the committee noted that the experiments sponsored by the researchers call into question the decision by the agencies not to fix guidelines for the experiments. You can't just fucking willy-nilly be like, let's start giving motherfuckers LSD and see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't do that. It doesn't
do that.
work that way.
Especially if they don't know.
Although it kind of seems that you don't know what it is. Meaning, like, at that, we know what LSD is now.
But at the time, they have no idea.
They have no
fucking clue what it was.
They have no clue what it is.
It could have been totally poison. They're like,
Yeah.
well,
They're like, menthol is great for you. The doctor's smoking. It's like, I have a Marlboro when I do surgery.
A Marlboro. Cools are my sick of choice.
When I'm stressed out and I'm doing a surgery, I have a cool.
I know. There's like a little hole in like his like mask. It's like,
It's good for my stress and my heart level.
It's good for my stress. When you're in my line of work. So anyways. So following the recommendations of the Church Committee, President Gerald Ford in 76 issued the first executive order on intelligence activities, which, among other things, prohibited, and I quote, experimentation with drugs on human subjects, except with the informed consent in writing and witnessed by a disinterested party of each such human subject, and in accordance with the guidelines issued by the National Commission. So President Carter and Reagan both expanded upon this directive to apply this to any human experimentation at all. So some good came out there like, you can't fuck with people.
It's my boy Jimmy.
Do this.
It's my boy Jimmy.
Jimmy Carter?
Jimmy Carter is my boy. I'd vote for him again.
In 77, the Senate reported on MKUltra. And then during the hearing held by the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence to further look into MKUltra, Admiral Stansfield Turner, who was then the director of the CIA, he revealed that the CIA had found a set of records consisting of about 20,000 pages, which we mentioned, that survived the 1973 destruction orders.
It was redacted,
the key
but
stuff.
there was some stuff.
So in 77, on the Senate floor, Senator Ted Kennedy said...
Right after Chappaquiddick.
Yeah, right after Chappaquiddick's like...
right around that time.
I am a good guy, I promise.
I want to be president. I don't know why. My brother was, my daddy was, my uncle was.
That's what we do.
I know, it's like, we rich and we trustworthy. So his shitty uncle Ted on the Senate floor in 77, he said, the deputy director of the CIA revealed that over 30 universities and institutions were involved in an extensive testing and experimentation program, which included covert drug tests on unwitting citizens at all social levels, high and low.
It must have been widespread. That means it's widespread.
Yeah, it's like Native
right?
Americans and foreign. Several of these tests involved the administration of LSD to unwitting subjects in social situations. At least one death, the result of an alleged defenestration of Frank Olson, was attributed to Olson's being subjected without his knowledge to such experimentation 9 days before his death. The CIA itself subsequently acknowledged that these tests had little scientific rationale. So even they're like, we don't even know what we were doing.
Dude, that means thousands.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Right? That's what that means, right?
30 universities? You're going to tell me it was 150 people? Get the fuck out of here.
Even if it was 20 people each, that's 600 people. 600
that's not
1,000.
That's not even including the hookers and the Johns.
And the extras.
And it was like, what, 10 years we said or something like that?
It was 10 years.
So, no. It's going to be tens of thousands.
Dude,
that's upsetting.
And about 100 million doses. They're like,
exactly.
Infinite.
This episode is upsetting.
It sucks, dude. I told you it was fucked up. Obviously, it should happen in Canada, too. So in Canada, the issue took longer to surface. It became widely known in 84 when a CBC news show covered it. It was learned that not only had the CIA funded Cameron's efforts, so Cameron was the doctor who was running that shit, that fucked up guy, but also that the Canadian government was fully aware of this and had later provided another $500,000 in funding to continue the experiments. What the fuck?
How do you sell this?
I don't know. Like,
somebody must have sold it, like in a PowerPoint.
I know. It's like,
all right, we need $500,000 more. We need $500,000 more.
On slide 2, you'll see me shocking the shit out of Jane, and she's not happy at all.
I just need more funding.
But we're almost there.
And I look at she forgot who she was. We're on to something here. It's so fucked up, dude.
Evil.
It's super evil. It is the definition of evil.
It's pretty evil.
So this coming to light pretty much largely derailed efforts by the victims to sue the CIA and their U.S. counterparts because the Canadian government settled out of court for $100K to each of the 127 victims. 127. That's just in Canada. 127. 100K each.
So there's a bunch of in the U.S. now. There's a bunch of people trying to sue.
Yeah.
For like the victims are trying to sue for what happened.
Yeah. So the U.S. people are suing the CIA. But the Canadian people can't sue because the government was pretty much like, oh, we'll give them the money. They pretty much were forcing like a settlement, and then now they can't sue the CIA.
Shit.
Cameron died on September 8th, 1967, and he also suffered a heart attack while him and his son were mountain climbing. Fucking asshole. So none of his personal records of his involvement with MKUltra survived because his family destroyed them after his death. Family fucking knew he was guilty. They're like, burn it. Burn all of his shit. Burn his office.
Kill him.
Just burn the office down.
That sucks.
So that's pretty much That's pretty much the that's
Up to
the
speed.
MK Ultra story. I know. And weirdly enough, it's such a weird situation, especially in terms of like being a conspiracy theory, because the fact is we know it happened.
So all this stuff is based on declassified documents coming out later, right? Because something happens 50 years ago.
The ones that weren't destroyed. So we know this by chance, really.
Yeah.
So pretty much it came out because of the Freedom of Information Act. Stuff got released.
Yeah.
And then Senate and Congress was, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then they're like, burn the shit, burn the evidence. And then that's how it came out. So we know for a fact that MK Ultra existed. Yeah. So like that's not the conspiracy. Yeah. It was a real program.
Right.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It did happen.
Because
for 10 years. It happened.
Because usually conspiracies exist.
And you're like,
you
don't know.
Right? Like,
you don't know if it happened.
Yeah,
that's why it's a conspiracy. Like, you don't know for sure.
But at this point, we're kind of like,
no, like it happened.
It did happen.
So that's why this is weird for conspiracy, because the conspiracies aren't like, oh, was MK Ultra real? Because we know it was real.
Yeah.
It's been, they literally, they're like, it's real. And we admitted
So
to it.
what we know based on this is that MK Ultra was real.
Correct.
And they used drugs to try to brainwash, manipulate, and or program people, military people, unsuspecting people.
Yeah, I mean, they really wanted to create like a weapon.
Yeah,
like almost like
really.
Weaponize a human.
Yeah. They can go out and kill, and there was a key, like they had to forget.
Yeah, forget.
That's also
okay.
Because like if they were to send them into enemy lines or whatever, and they get captured, it's like, oh,
yeah, you can't know anything. You don't know any. Yeah, no.
So I think that I guess the question would be on whether or not quote unquote conspiracy or not.
Oh, it is.
Was it a rogue nation, rogue situation, or was it a?
We already know it wasn't rogue.
No, but I mean, you could have parts of an organization,
right? Like it was approved to do some experiments.
The original approval,
right?
Yes.
The original approval. It's like, okay, we're gonna
go test it out. Go test out torture and how to not torture.
Oh, okay. Go
learn
test
how
out
to better technique your torture.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
And then they went off into like this. Oh, electroshock.
So
LSD,
so then the government's like, no, that's not what we meant. Canceled.
Right.
No. 100%. I mean, just to put it to you this way, like Frank Olson was a part of MK Ultra for 7 months, and he's like, I can't do this anymore. This is too fucked up.
Yeah,
and literally
jumps out the window.
Literally dies.
Karate chops.
And it went on for 10 years. He was in it for 7 months. He's like, he could build fucking biological weapons and was like totally fine. And then he gets into MK Ultra.
This was only after he was given LSD. Who knows if he would have stuck around for 10 years without that LSD?
True.
Good point.
Okay,
so
then the question...
He only started like tripping out, and then they were like, well, look at this guy.
Keep your eyes on him.
Okay,
get him out.
So the first question...
Take him out.
So that's the first question. Was it a rogue department?
No. It was approved. The director of the CIA was like, do it.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree. Okay, next question. Does it persist?
That is actually, right? I'm super Eric said that because
is it going on right now in
present time? Like did it because what did it end in 73?
So that is the main conspiracy is MK Ultra still active, just under a different name.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because there were multiple iterations. So the first, and I think Jorge was actually right because I want to look that up because I believe that before even Project Artichoke, I think there was, so before Project Artichoke, it was Project Bluebird.
Okay.
Project Bluebird was the forerunner. So the beginning of MK Ultra was Project Bluebird, which then became Project Artichoke, which then became MK Ultra.
Okay.
So my thing is they keep doing the same thing over such a long period of time. Why don't they just change to like Project TikTok?
Yeah.
And like you know, it's like
they're like, let's get out of
TikTok. I know.
Let's get out of the spotlight and change the name. Yeah.
If we can make them do these stupid dances, can we make them do other shit?
To answer your question, it's still persisting, it's still going on today.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't have like any evidence or anything.
So on that, so I don't know if you guys have seen, there's been a lot of like coverage on these like weird what people are calling like people glitching.
Yes.
So it's like
I've seen
people
this.
like
You were
literally
sharing that
they'll
with us.
stand there and they'll just freeze, and it happens to a lot of people. And there's actually I wrote down some of the celebrities it's happened to. Draymond Green, like during a press conference, he's literally with one of his teammates right there, and the team is talking. He's literally like,
Yeah. Just
for 10 seconds,
Yeah. Just checks out.
was gone, and he's back. Also, Eminem, Katy Perry, Hillary Clinton, multiple times. A shitload of news hosts.
was this like during an interview though, and they're just kind of like checked out because somebody's talking to them?
No, literally live. Other people are talking right next to them.
It is weird.
And they're like, they're
it is
gone.
Weird to see. You've seen them, right?
Yeah.
It's weird to see.
Dude,
it is weird, but
2 Chainz.
I was just wondering, like in context, it's like
I
if, you
know.
know,
No, dude,
Like,
okay.
you
like
freeze,
if
you
you
don't know what to
just see the
say.
video of the guy
You don't know what
glitching
to
out,
say.
you know which one was weird though? Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
You
Oh
saw
my
that?
god, the Mitch McConnell thing was super sketchy.
Although, have you been in front of something that was in front of 10,000 people or in front of 1 million people?
Mitch McConnell's been a senator for like 40 years,
No,
bro.
I
right?
know, but I'm just putting into like
Have
knowing.
I been?
Yeah, like knowing what
Like
the
on
pressure
stage?
is.
On stage?
Yeah,
Like,
in
no,
front
no,
of.
no.
I'm just saying.
I understand.
Maybe we don't know the pressure.
No. Eric's right,
know what I
but
mean?
like that's to a normal person.
That's right.
These are all people that have been doing this for
True.
years.
Very true.
And they get
Very
being
true.
humiliated.
I do think it's weird. I think that's it's too long.
Dude,
if it was a millisecond where I'm like, oh, I don't know what to say,
even like 2 seconds,
you would have to give it to me.
Even
But
2 or 3 seconds. This is like 10 seconds. You see the 2 Chainz one, bro?
I didn't see that one.
Dude, 2 Chainz is on ESPN, like with the boys, and they're on like the little basketball court in the ESPN thing, and he literally like,
yeah,
like this for 10 seconds, and like they come up and they're like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Are you okay? And I'm like, there's one like where Cardi B is literally getting interviewed, and she fucking like checks out, and then there's 2 or 3 of them where it's one's Cardi B and one's another person, but like when they do something in threes, they come back to it. She's like, okay, and then she's like, and then like she snaps back, or like one like person that claps 3 times like right next to him, like as soon as they see it happen, and they're like, and then the person like snaps back to it. So that's why I think people are like trying to tie it. So maybe some sort of like signaling, like
strange.
I know it's really weird.
Yeah.
So your guys' theory is that these celebrities are being MK Ultra, whatever
That's
it
the
is,
only-
whatever
no,
the name is.
I don't know what it is. There just seems to be a lot more people who are just either fainting.
Well, yeah,
or like having a seizure.
Well, that is connected to a thing that we won't disclose.
Yeah, I don't know if it's MK Ultra, but it seems more like it would be more of a relevant thing to present.
My personal belief is that the program is still going on, but in a less invasive way.
I get you. Yeah,
I think that
they got smarter.
I think they're like, hey,
Oh, yeah.
we don't need drugs or anything like that. We can just social engineer people into being what we want.
Oh, maybe they learned a little bit more.
We can use social media. We can use advertising.
tough one.
We can use. It's a slow game instead of being the fast game where it's like, hey, I need to change you right now. They're like, cool, I can change you over 10 years.
That's not MK Ultra. That's like a different. You're talking about like a whole different thing now.
Well, no,
we're talking about MK Ultra.
what's the
name
purpose of MK Ultra? The purpose of MK Ultra
create-
control
is
them.
mind control.
No, but for what? Mind control for what?
Just to for control.
No, it's not just for control.
Dude, they're not worried about the fucking Soviets anymore. The Soviet Union doesn't exist.
Putin,
Yes, they are. They're
Putin,
worried about
they're
everything.
very worried about Putin.
They're very worried.
You know
And
why
they
they're not-
need
you know why
people
they're
that they
not
can-
worried?
I get what you're
they
saying,
need
though,
people
Sean.
that they can.
I get what Sean's saying though.
No, I get what he's saying, but I think
yeah.
that, and even though I agree, by the way, I just don't think that it's kind of like what we're talking about as far as MK Ultra, which is creating this fucking guy that can get programmed to go out and do exactly what you want, which mainly is go out and kill someone and forget about it, or not get caught and have it come back to us.
I'll give you a really good example. Of why I think this is actually happening. Okay. Let's take BLM. All right. So let's take any of the riots.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
How do you convince people to literally just do crimes? And it's not even bringing good to the cause that you're supporting. You're destroying black-owned businesses. You're destroying black people's homes.
Yeah.
And like it's supposed to be about. I'm saying like if you can get people to do that, if you can like get them so
You're talking
enraged
about social engineering.
That's what I'm
Social
saying.
engineering.
I
I think
think
that's what
it
that
changed. I think they were trying to do that then, but they were trying to make it like
and they
like
realized
they're
could
like,
do it in a
hey, we
different
can't
way.
really control people with drugs. We have to do it a different way.
Interesting.
And we have to do it a different way. And if you can make it their choice.
It's pretty.
No, I actually agree with that too.
It's not a
I
bad.
just think that
it's not a bad theory.
No,
And it goes both ways. It goes both ways. I'm not saying it's only BLM. I'm saying you can do that with anything.
Yeah,
you can.
I'm on
do
your
that.
side with your theory. I just think that is maybe a different subject in regards to this MK Ultra, project that we're talking about. If it's happening in person, I think it is. I think that it's mostly just happening more with maybe, prisoners or prisoners of war or something like that. Maybe it's not going to be with people that don't know that they're participating in this.
Still along the torture lines.
Like civilians, though.
And that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Everything you guys are saying, though, does lead back to that there is a nefarious entity wanting to do that.
100%.
Yeah.
I think.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, regardless of if it's drugs or MK Ultra or social engineering or nukes or whatever, it all goes back to, like, if your argument is true, it goes back to a round table of
right.
I think
a round table is good. Like, I don't think it's one. I think it's
dude. If you want to take it back, like this type of thing has been happening far longer than you can imagine. Yeah. We'll get into this once we get into like these
one of these days. Yeah,
obviously obviously like the five family type conversation. Do you realize that our modern medicine was actually manipulated by the Rockefeller family? So. This is. I'm saying.
Wait. Save that for an episode. No, we have an episode coming up on it.
I understand, but this just leads to my point in terms of quote unquote mind control. Because mind control, the real on mind control is this perception control. If you can control what someone perceives as real, then you're controlling their mind, because you can't force them into believing something. But if they believe it for themselves to be real, then it's real, and you've won.
And you're doing it without drugs.
Exactly. So J.D. Rockefeller, he's obviously massive in oil, and the big thing at the time. So they were using like natural medicine, like naturopaths. That was the big thing, dude.
They turned homeopathic medicine into quackery.
Yeah. So literally, he paid off all the main doctors and had them start writing all these research papers on how petroleum-based medicines were the new craze, and literally, fucking 15 years later. Naturopath medicine doesn't exist. Yeah. And it's only fucking...
It's like a mom's...
I know, it's like
a mom's handbook.
And people think that those people are crazy now.
It's like a witchcraft.
And they're like, I know, they're like, oh my God, you're so weird. Yeah. What's wrong with you, weirdo? And like, you realize that 20 years...
Same with like chiropractors or
I know,
whatever.
20 years ago, the whole world operated off this
You're rubbing oatmeal on your butt? What the fuck?
No, so I'm saying, if you're able to manipulate the perceptions, like you take what people trust. You trust a doctor. I trust my doctor.
Right.
When my doctor tells me some shit, I'm like, okay, I believe you.
Yeah.
That's my point.
I get you.
I feel like they realize that mind control needs to be done differently, and it's done in a way that you convince them of the reality you want.
Right.
And when they believe it themselves, that is controlling their mind because they believe it. Yeah. Not you. You didn't make them. You're not giving them some code word. Like some fucking. They don't have to like get dosed again. They're like, tripping balls and useless. Right. Like, we just did fucking Kurt Cobain. All right, he needs more heroin. I know. And we're gonna tell him what to do, and he's like drooling on the ground. Like you can't do shit. The dude, he's on drugs.
It's very true.
So that's my belief.
Where you stand, Eric?
I mean, I think this is deep rooted. I think it's a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that MK Ultra, the program with the 12 guys, is still here.
No, they're all.
But I do believe I am actually on board. I think it's prevalent in our society today.
So you think it's more of like what Sean's saying, like on a social engineering, like more of a broad social mind control level.
Slow game, fucking.
I don't know. That seems pretty nefarious. But I still think drugs are still part of it.
I mean,
so I don't think.
You do think that there's like a MK Ultra. Yeah, that's what I think too.
I think that's a different society or a different.
Okay, so we're all saying that something's going down, but you guys still believe there's like a drug component involved in it.
Yes,
and I'm more like this is more broad scale
component and
slow.
Like the purpose to be able to control somebody.
Yes.
And they're trying to figure this out, and they're trying to like.
So we're kind of on the same page,
but just different spectrums.
But different forks in the road.
So we agree, but we disagree, but we kind of still agree.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing I think we can all agree on is that Frank Olson was murdered by the CIA. I mean, let's be honest.
Yes.
The fact that homie was taking a dump after dude just threw himself out of a window, like you're not like upset,
or they murdered him by getting him psychotic from the drug.
Eric, could you imagine? Eric, okay,
right, yeah.
Let's say me and you, like let's say we go on a business trip,
okay.
and we're in the same hotel, and then suddenly I throw myself out a 10-story window, and then you like go over, like peek over, and you're like have a sip of coffee, and you're like, oh shit, I got poop.
Yeah.
And you just go sit down, and you don't call the cops.
The cops come in.
No, actually, what you do is you call the doctor. Well, Sean's dead.
Oh, what's a bummer.
And Dr. Jorge is like, well, that sucks. and then you go take a shit.
I got nothing else to do.
I know. And then you don't. The fact that no cops are called and he just takes a dump. I mean, get the fuck. I mean, well, anyways, we'd love to get your guys' thoughts.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
And we'll probably put up another poll. See what you think on the little Spotify polls. And
that's what we got. MK Ultra, guys.
Hope you like it.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
It's inhumane.
It's insane.
That's where I go. That's where I go. No, honestly,
it's so fucked up.
It's
so
super messed up.
I mean, doing this research, I was really not happy.
Yeah.
For weeks, I was not happy.
Yeah. But I hope you were happy on your drive home.
I know. Enjoy your work, guys. I love
Catch you
you
on the next one.
Nighty night.
Hey guys, are you obsessed with us?
That's
I
cool.
am.
Can you just
like
not
that.
get enough?
That's all right. We don't blame you.
We just launched a Patreon and Spotify exclusive content. There are 2 ways you can sign up for exclusive content. The first is through Spotify. There's a link in our profile description that links you to the Spotify premium page. And that's only $2.99 a month. And it gets you an ad-free experience and it gets you extra episodes that come out every month. The other way is through our Patreon. All you got to do is go to Patreon and search The Conspiracy Podcast, and you'll find us. There are many different levels there, all giving different amounts of content.
And you get a lot of bennies with this, like maximum bennies. No ads.
You get some exclusive discounts on our merch.
Oh yeah, you get access to our. We had a Discord.
Yeah.
You want to like talk to us in real time?
Do you want to yell at us constantly live?
Yeah. Do you want to have free access to cuss us out without any repercussions whatsoever?
Or just simply suggest a new episode that we got to do.
There you go. And on top of it, you get 5 free mini episodes right out the gate.
And then 1 a month from then on.
What is a
right.
mini episode real quick?
A mini episode is basically a conspiracy or a mystery where it just doesn't warrant a full hour-long episode.
So go to conspiracypodcast.com/Patreon.